Chapter 4363. This Lin Xian could really help them remove the curse. Thinking of this, their eyes turned red. Hurry up and invite young Master Lin over. These sage kings all sent people and prepared to present a huge gift. Soon, the youths of the various great sage lands also came to invite Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "No rush, I have to do it one by one." Indeed, with his strength, doing so would consume a lot of his energy. But fortunately, these sage cities would provide him with sufficient resources and treasures. Lin Xian did not have to worry about the problem of energy consumption. Of course, not all the sage cities came. At least, those sage cities that were against Wushuang City did not come. However, Thunder God City did come because they were like a group of dragons without a leader. Their sage king was killed, so they could only follow. Now that they saw Lin Xian helping more and more sage kings, they felt their scalps go numb. If Lin Xian wanted to make a move on them now, no one would be able to resist him. My Thunder God City still has a sage king that has been in a deep sleep. Now, it seems like he will be awakened. The elders took a deep breath and prepared to use their strongest trump cards. Otherwise, with the threat of the secular world present, their Thunder God City would definitely be destroyed. On the other side, the Thousand Monstrous City's Golden Crow clan had left. Demon City did not come to Jade Lake's sacred ground at all, which made everyone suspicious. "Master, don't you need to cure the poison?" Nine-headed Qilin was shocked. He could clearly feel that the Soaring Sky Sage King was injured and poisoned. But why did he not go to Jade Lake? Could it be because of Wushuang City? The others also frowned. He said that in this situation, we should work together to deal with the human world. I don't think Wushuang City will make things difficult for us. However, the Divine King snorted coldly. "You don't have to care about this. I have my own ways." The Soaring Sky Sage King's face was cold. He said to the people behind him, "Go to Demon King Palace now. I still have some things to do." With that, he tore open the void and disappeared. He actually returned to the primordial grotto. The Saint Kings from the ancient grotto frowned. "Who was it? Come out." The silver corpse Saint King shattered the void. In the next instant, he was stunned. "It's you." "That's right, it's me." Soaring Sky Saint Monarch walked out of the broken space and said, "I know your connection with the mortal world, so there's no need to hide it from me. I'm here for the antidote. Give me the antidote and I'll join you. Have you thought it through? Once you join, not only will your entire Myriad Demon City join as well, to be used by me. I naturally understand this." Soaring Sky Saint King nodded, a cold light flashing in his eyes. He had his own reasons for doing so, because he felt that the human world would eventually emerge victorious in this battle. Therefore, he came here in advance. When the time came, he would be able to obtain a lot of benefits. "Very good, welcome." Holy King Yanling and Holy King Silver Corpse smiled. 3 months later, the Saint Kings of the Jade Lake's sacred ground all let out roars that shook the heavens and earth. Their curses had already disappeared, and the remaining great sage corpse poison could be removed with the Jade Lake's sacred water. It was just a matter of time. On this day, many Saint Kings stood up and walked towards a palace in the distance. There was a young figure sitting cross-legged there. It was Lin Xian. "Young Master Lin, thank you for your help. We will remember this favor in our hearts. If you need anything in the future, please don't hesitate to ask." The ones who said this were Saint Kings. If others saw this, they would definitely be shocked. Because Lin Xian was only a mid-stage Saint Sovereign, these Saint Kings treated him so well. They didn't even treat Lin Xian as a junior. Of course, this was because Lin Xian had sufficient talent and strength. Lin Xian also stood up. The Saint Kings were too courteous. "In the future, when I appear in the human world, I will still need your help." Lin Xian was a Deity Palace master. In addition, he was Peerless Saint King's junior brother. Therefore, his status was not inferior to the Saint Kings. When the Saint Kings heard this, they nodded. "No problem. The human world was too hateful. As long as there is a chance, we will definitely work together. Indeed, if the human world continues to exist, it will be a fatal threat to every Saint City." The Saint Kings took out their interspatial rings and gave them to Lin Xian. There were many treasures inside. Next, peerless Saint King also walked over. He called the other Saint Kings over and prepared to discuss the next step. The Saint Kings also said, since the human world has made a move this time, they will definitely not let this matter rest. Moreover, I guess that they are related to those people in the immemorial grotto. Therefore, we will have to do our best to eliminate the remaining ones. The other Saint Kings also nodded. Peerless Saint King said, fortunately, there is only half a year left. At that time, we can let our disciples go to the buried Emperor Star. They can also avoid being targeted by the human world. Indeed, once they go to the buried Emperor Star, there should be no danger, right? Everyone discussed spiritedly. In the end, they decided that it would be better to rest and recuperate during this period of time. Firstly, they could preserve their strength. Secondly, they could avoid unnecessary trouble. Therefore, the Saint Kings continued to detoxify while the young genius disciples went into seclusion. They were waiting for the final opportunity. Peerless Saint King found Lin Xian and said, Junior brother, if you don't want to go into seclusion, you can go to the nothingness to take a look. The nothingness, what is that? Lin Xian was shocked. Peerless Saint King said that it is an eternal land. It is very strange and it is in the true spirit world. After Lin Xian heard this, he was also very shocked. He was prepared to go and explore it. After all, this place should have many benefits. Indeed, Peerless Saint King said that the nothingness is a very mysterious place. It is called the Eternal Land because the time there is fixed. Fixed, what does that mean? Lin Xian was shocked. Peerless Saint King said that there is only a period of time in the nothingness. There you have neither past nor future, only eternity. Eternity, what is that? Peerless Saint King said, I don't know the details. I only know that there is a battle recorded in that place. A battle that happened 100,000 years ago. That battle was recorded in the nothingness. Once you enter the nothingness, you will be able to see that battle. It is a shocking battle that will be very helpful to you. Countless geniuses want to see it, but whether or not you can see it depends on your ability. After Lin Xian heard this, he took a deep breath. Is there such a magical place? Then he really has to go take a look. At this time, two other figures also came over to prepare to go with him. They were Guan Songhai and Qin Xian. Guan Songhai should be because Saint King Songhai was heavily injured. Chapter 4364. As for Qin Xianer, it was obvious that she was sent by Luiyue Sage King to repay her kindness. Lin Xian did not have any objections to this. After all, both of them were friends. As for Shen Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing, they chose to stay behind to cultivate. After obtaining the map, Lin Xian and the other two were ready to set off. Riding on a huge flying sword, they quickly disappeared between heaven and earth. Not long after they disappeared, a few more figures appeared in the temple. The dark red dragon's voice rang out. The people in the temple were shocked. It's you. When Peacock and the others realized, they were also stunned. That's right, the ones who returned were the dark red dragon, the toad, Little White, Black Mountain, and the North Demon. Is that kid back yet? I've heard about him everywhere. So it's Lord Dragon. Peacock and the others knew about the dark red dragon. They knew that he was Lin Xian's friend, so they were extremely respectful. Peacock told them about some things that happened previously. After hearing that, the dark red dragon gritted his teeth. Damn, those people in the human world actually made a move. Moreover, they almost killed so many Sage Kings. How despicable. The North Demon and Black Mountain were equally shocked. Black Mountain's eyes flickered. Finally, they couldn't help but make a move. Where is that kid? They asked and found out that he was at Yaoqi. They then flew over. When they arrived at Yaoqi, they realized that Lin Xian and the others had already left. They actually went to the void? The dark red dragon's eyes flickered. The toad asked, should we go too? I'm very curious about that place. The dark red dragon said, let's go to a few other places. There are also good things there. The little white monkey also blinked his eyes. The three of them started to discuss again. On the other side, Black Mountain said, Disciple, you go take a look. I'm also going to take a look at this legendary true spirit world. Black Mountain left alone. The North Demon took a deep breath and shook his body quickly. He also had some people to meet. After all, this was his hometown. Lin Xian and the others did not know that the dark red dragon and the others had returned. At this moment, they had already arrived at their destination. There was a mysterious aura up ahead. The Void Land was located in the northern plains. It was extremely desolate. Moreover, there weren't any living creatures here, so ordinary people wouldn't dare to approach. But now, there were quite a number of people. Clearly, they were here to enter the Void Land. When Lin Xian and the others arrived at this place, they felt a mysterious aura and the surrounding figures, which made them frown. It seemed that this place was mysterious and dangerous. Furthermore, there was also intense competition. Let's go and see what mysteries this place has. They quickly flew over. At the same time, the expressions of the people around them changed. Many people instantly dodged. What was going on? Why was he hiding from those three people? Were they very powerful? Some people did not know. However, one of the elders frowned. You don't know? That person is Lin Xian. He's extremely terrifying. What? Is he Lin Xian? The legendary Lin Wudi, the central emperor of the past? It was said that he had recently been involved in a great battle. He had killed many geniuses. I didn't expect him to come here too. Yes, I heard that there are other experts here. Even those rising geniuses, such as Han Chong and the others, are here too. I really don't know how those mysterious geniuses compare to Lin Wudi. In the end, who was more tyrannical? Ahead, the Void Land. For the time being, no one dared to enter it. However, there were many people standing on the surrounding mountains. Every mountain peak represented a power. It seemed like these people were all waiting for the right moment. Those who could come here were all terrifying experts and powerful geniuses. However, these people were not the most dazzling at this moment. The most dazzling person was on top of a tall mountain. It was a man standing there with his hands behind his back. His body was surrounded by a terrifying halo. He was like a god that filled the sky, extremely dazzling. Countless people looked at this figure with awe in their eyes. This person was extremely powerful. He had been a genius since young. Now, he had grown to the late stage of the Saint Venerable realm. He was not far from the Saint King realm. He was the genius of the Wavering Light Holy Land, the Wavering Light Saint. Although the geniuses from the outer realm had arrived and mysterious geniuses had risen, it still could not hide the Wavering Light Saint's sharpness. After so many years, logically speaking, he should have been able to take over the entire Wavering Light Holy Land. However, he did not do so. He chose a person who had recovered from the divine crystal and became the Holy Lord again. He was still the saint, but he was probably the one who had the final say in the entire Holy Land. At this moment, the Wavering Light Saint's eyes flickered as he looked into the distance. His gaze was very calm, but it was incomparably deep. No one knew what he was thinking. This guy was becoming more and more unfathomable. There were also other figures on the surrounding mountains. For example, there was a figure that was abnormally hazy. It was Gu Feng. Naturally, he had also come. When he saw the Wavering Light Saint, he also frowned. The Wavering Light Saint also gave him a dangerous feeling. He didn't expect there to be such a peerless genius in the spiritual world. Beside Gu Feng stood Wan Jianyi and the others. At this moment, Wan Jianyi looked at the Wavering Light Saint in surprise. He had always thought that his peerless enemy was Lin Xian or this Gu Feng in front of him. He didn't care about the others. He was even confident that he could fight against those who had risen up. But at this moment, when he saw the Wavering Light Saint, he felt a chill run down his spine. Under the other party's calm gaze, there was an extremely terrifying power. Wan Jianyi really didn't expect there to be such a terrifying person. Such a person actually didn't walk the path of the stars? At this moment, a figure from the Gu family appeared on the mountain peak and said respectfully to Gu Feng, "Young master, that Lin Xian is here." Hearing this, Gu Feng frowned and asked how many people he had brought. He should have brought a lot of experts from the Divine Palace. However, that person said that the other party had only brought 2 people. They were Guan Songhai from the Deep Sea Palace and Qin Xiener from the Joyous Union Palace. Hearing this, Gu Feng was surprised. Only 2 young geniuses? This kid was really bold. Wan Jian's eyes exploded with a piercing cold light. He said that now was a good opportunity to kill him. He had endless secrets on him. If you could kill him, then all the treasures on him would be yours. Kill him? There was no hurry. Gu Feng narrowed his eyes. Let's talk about it after we investigate the situation. Wan Jian said, don't worry. If you suspect there is someone behind you, I will help you. A piercing cold light flashed in his eyes. During this period of time, Gu Feng had indeed brought him to the All Beginnings Holy Land. In the past few months, he had cultivated the All Beginnings Holy Land's cultivation technique and cultivated the aura of primal chaos. This made his sword of primal chaos even more terrifying. Chapter 4365. What Wan Jian didn't know was that during this period of time, Lin Xian had been using the Great Dragon Sword Soul to detoxify these Sage Kings. And these Sage Kings gave each of them a large number of heavenly treasures out of gratitude. There were even some insights and experiences of the Sage Kings. Lin Xian's gains during this period of time were also extremely terrifying. His trump cards had become even more abundant. Even the great Tao insights that the Sage Kings personally imparted were incomparable to others. Of course, these things only happened in the Jade Pool, and others had no way of knowing. At this moment, 3 streams of light flew over from the void. Then, a vast amount of energy swept out in all directions. Countless people raised their heads to look at the sky, and then exclaimed one after another. They saw 3 figures appear in the sky. Someone said that they were the geniuses of the holy city. No, the person in the middle was Lin Xian, the central emperor of the past. Indeed, such a peerless genius had also come. Everyone gasped. Some people exclaimed, some were envious, and some had cold killing intent in their eyes. In the sky, Lin Xian and the other 2 arrived and looked around. He also saw some familiar figures. He didn't expect that this void land would attract so many experts. Let's find a place first. Lin Xian looked at a mountain peak in front of him. It was very close to the void land. So he waved his hand and led the 3 of them to quickly fly forward. In an instant, they landed on the mountain peak. However, at this moment, a cold laugh was heard. Get lost, this place is ours. The voice was cold and merciless as it spread in all directions. The surrounding people were all stunned. Who dared to provoke these 3 geniuses at this time? Behind the 3 of them stood 3 colossi. Lin Xian frowned, and the faces of Qing Xian and Guan Songhai also darkened. They turned their heads. In front of them, the void split open, and some people walked out. Walking at the front was a very handsome man. He was wearing a Taoist robe, and his eyes were sharp. He had an extremely strong spatial power. We, the ancient race, have taken a fancy to this place, so the 3 of you, get lost. Ancient race. People from the emperor race? Many people were stunned when they heard this. Originally, they thought that it was someone who didn't know what death was, but now it seemed that it wasn't necessarily so. The ancient race was a great emperor family. How terrifying was their background and strength. Moreover, the other party cultivated spatial divine abilities. What a terrifying clan this was. Now that they had come out, they wanted to forcibly occupy this mountain peak. Even if Lin Xian and the other 2 were powerful, they wouldn't be able to resist them. You don't want to live? At this moment, Guan Songhai also said cold. There was an extremely cold glint in his eyes. Who dared to block their path? You have a deaths. The people at the front started laughing as well. You dare to challenge our ancient race? I think you're the one who doesn't know the difference between life and death. Get lost, you are. After saying that, these people exuded an extremely terrifying space law, covering a part of the world. Of course, T-tes, S's, S. In fact, he would be banished to the void without even having to fight. Spatial power again? Guan Songhai frowned. He wasn't unfamiliar with this because Gu Feng was famous in the 2nd astral realm. However, he didn't expect Gu Feng's family to be even more terrifying than he had imagined. Everyone here would be top geniuses in the 2nd astral realm. But so what? He wasn't weak either. Therefore, he said, I've always wanted to see how powerful the emperor race is. Today, I'll take the lead. Guan Songhai snorted coldly. The laws of water on his body continued to erupt. A terrifying wave swept out in all directions, and the surrounding sky was completely painted into a sea. The surrounding people's faces changed. It couldn't be, could it? Was this fella really going to make a move against the ancient race? There was a loud boom. A wave palm flew out like a sea dragon surging between the heavens and the earth. He didn't know what death was. The man from the Gu family snorted coldly as well. He waved his hand, and a huge crack tore open, charging towards the wave. The two fought instantly. Terrifying laws swept through the 9 heavens. Between heaven and earth, the terrifying laws of water and the terrifying laws of space spread out. In an instant, the two were equally matched. All right. At this moment, a voice sounded. Kid, if you brought the people from the temple, you could still fight with me. But now, with just the 3 of you, you're a little pitifully weak. Hearing this, Guan Songhai stopped and turned his head to look. Lin Xian and Gu Feng turned their heads as well. So it's you. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a piercing cold light. The other party was none other than Gu Feng. Gu family, how impressive. However, I'm afraid you can't stop me. Unless all the experts of the Gu family come out. Lin Xian's eyes shone with an extremely cold light. He indeed had such confidence. The Gu family's laws of space were terrifying and unpredictable. However, he had the great dragon sword soul and could cut through the void. Therefore, he wasn't afraid at all. Is that so? Since you're so confident, why don't you add my 10,000 swords pavilion? Another voice was heard. Immediately after, Wan Jiani walked over with the 10,000 swords pavilion. Sword chi overflowed from their bodies, making everyone's scalp go numb. Such a terrifying sword Dao expert joined hands with the Gu family. It seemed that even if Lin Xian had the temple behind him, he was still in danger. Qin Xiener and Guan Songhai frowned. This time, only the 3 of them came, but they didn't expect to meet so many people. Moreover, these people seemed to have brought enough experts. They were afraid that they were really in danger. Lin Xian, on the other hand, laughed. Who was I then? So it was you. What right do you have to be arrogant in front of me after being defeated? You weren't my opponent before, and I'm afraid you still aren't. Feeling Lin Xian's mocking smile, Wan Jiani's pupils shrank and his face became abnormally ferocious. Kid, I've lost to you before, but so what? I'm no longer the same as I was back then. Do you really think that I can't beat you now? He took a step forward and a terrifying sword chi instantly erupted. A huge crack appeared between heaven and earth, as if the entire world was being split apart. Kid, if you want to be our enemy now, I'm afraid the 3 of you will be exiled in an instant. Therefore, I advise you to be sensible. Gu Feng sneered as if victory was in his hands. Do you really think that you can defeat me with just the few of you? Lin Xian also laughed. Tell me, what do you want? Chapter 4366. That was indeed the case. Lin Xian knew that although there were fewer people on their side, every one of them was extremely terrifying and powerful. Especially his strength. During this period of time, he had benefited from healing the Sage King, causing his strength to increase again. Therefore, he was not afraid of facing these people. Moreover, he also knew that the Gu family did not dare to start a war with him. After all, there were other powerful experts around, eyeing him covetously. Once they started a war, the others would reap the benefits. Very simple. You and I will have a duel. No matter who wins or loses, at least before entering the Void Land, we will not attack you again. The person who said this was naturally Wan Jiani. Now that he had cultivated the chaotic energy, he naturally could not wait to attack. Gu Feng was naturally happy to do so. He had already controlled Wan Jiani, so he wanted to use Wan Jiani to test what level Lin Xian had reached. You still dare to attack me? Lin Xian's eyes flickered. I don't know who gave you the courage, but since it's like this, I'll get rid of you once and for all. Lin Xian looked ahead, and a biting cold murderous intent appeared in his eyes. Obviously, although Wan Jiani was not as good as him, he was definitely an expert in the sword Dao. He did not want Wan Jiani to continue growing. Kid, you will regret this. I will make you suffer 100 times more pain. Wan Jian's eyes emitted a biting cold light, and in the next moment, his aura exploded. It caused the void between heaven and earth to shatter continuously. The people on the surrounding mountain peaks narrowed their eyes. Interesting. He didn't expect to see such a battle even before entering the void land. On a mountain peak, the Alcade Saint looked ahead, and a mysterious light flickered in his eyes. He whispered, Lin Xian, I did not expect you to return after so many years. Let me see what kind of strength you've obtained on the ancient road of stars over the years. Although the Alcade Saint was not ranked among the 5 heroes, his strength was indeed unfathomable. No one had ever dared to underestimate him. Therefore, he was very interested in Lin Xian now. Kid, prepare to die. In front, Wan Jian took a step forward, and a majestic sword was swept out in all directions like a storm. That aura caused the expressions of the surrounding geniuses to change. This person's sword chi was terrifying. Even the experts of the older generation were frowning. It had to be said that the other party did indeed have the qualifications to fight with Lin Xian. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes when he felt the sword chi coming from his opponent's body. Has his strength increased again? No wonder he dares to attack me. It had to be said that this fellow was indeed a genius in the sword Dao. Thinking of this, he snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, the 9 suns' divine flame burst forth from his body. He was like the sun god of war, sweeping through the 9 heavens. The terrifying aura caused the surrounding people to suck in a breath of cold air. As expected of Lin Wudi, the legendary Central Emperor, his strength was indeed powerful. Wan Jian naturally knew how powerful Lin Xian was, so he did not dare to be careless. He immediately used 10,000 swords returned to origin as well as a powerful array formation. Spirit Extinguishing Sword Formation. A terrifying sword formation appeared between heaven and earth, capable of destroying everything. On the other side, Lin Xian was like a peerless sun god of war. His fists were wide open, sweeping in all directions. With one strike, the man-ruler seal descended from the sky, slapping directly at the Spirit Extinguishing Sword Formation. Too powerful. When the surrounding people saw this, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. Boom. The strike was like the palm of a god. The Spirit Extinguishing Sword Formation was directly shattered, and Wan Jian was also sent flying with a cold expression. Lin Xian said, Is this all you've got? I don't even need to look at you. What other trump cards do you have? Take them out. Otherwise, you have no chance of winning. Damn brat, you're really arrogant. But do you really think I don't have any trump cards? An extremely cold light appeared in Wan Jian's eyes. He did not expect Lin Xian to become stronger during this period of time. But so what? This time, he had cultivated the chaotic qi. In the next moment, he roared angrily, and an extremely terrifying aura appeared from his body. Then, a sword light flew out. Above it, a terrifying energy spread out in all directions. There was actually the aura of primal chaos spreading out from it. This is... The surrounding people looked at the sword light in the sky, and then their expressions turned grave. Many experts of the older generation gasped. Heavens, why do I feel the aura of primal chaos from it? That's right, it's the aura of primal chaos. Could it be that this sword light is the primal chaos sword light? Cries of surprise rang out. On a mountain peak in the distance, the people of the Gu family sneered. This Lin Xian is dead for sure this time. Wan Jian has already cultivated the primal chaos sword light. The might of that sword Dao is unparalleled. I don't believe that brat can block it. On another mountain peak, the wavering light Saint Sun was also shocked. Primal chaos light? He did not expect the people of the holy city to have connections with the all beginnings holy ground. They even cultivated the primal chaos light. Interesting. Someone beside him asked, Saint Sun, does this mean that Lin Xian will be defeated? The wavering light Saint Sun indeed said that it was not certain. After all, his foundation was also very powerful. Therefore, let's wait and see how this battle will turn out. Although he said that, his gaze was still firmly fixed on Lin Xian. Clearly, he cared more about Lin Xian. In front of him, After Wan Jiani displayed the primal chaos sword light, he faced the sky and laughed. How about it? Brat, you've seen my trump card, haven't you? That's a sword light formed from primal chaos chi. It's a power capable of splitting heaven and earth apart. What will you use to fight against me? Primal chaos light? Lin Xian furrowed his brows. From the looks of it, Wan Jiani should have gone to the all beginnings holy ground. He knew that Wan Jiani had already cultivated a trace of the primal chaos sword light. However, the might of that was incomparable to the current one. In other words, Wan Jiani had been cultivating the primal chaos chi all this time. The all beginnings holy ground? It seemed that Gu Feng had helped him. After all, it would be very difficult for Wan Jiani to enter the all beginnings holy ground by himself. However, it would be different if he had the help of a great emperor clan. Although the primal chaos sword light was powerful, Wan Jiani did not care about it. Therefore, he still had a disdainful expression in his eyes. Upon seeing this scene, Wan Jiani was thoroughly enraged. Damn it, brat, what kind of expression is that? Could it be that you think that the current you is capable of contending against me? Wan Jiani was thoroughly enraged. With a roar, the primal chaos sword light blossomed with incomparable radiance. Then, it suddenly slashed forward. Heaven and earth were instantly split apart. This attack was incomparably powerful. Most likely, even a late-stage holy venerate would not be able to contend against it. Pumph! Lin Xian coldly snorted. The 10 absolute swords flew out and formed a divine sword. Chapter 4367. Boom, boom, boom. The two sword radiances clashed in the sky like divine swords. Then, countless cracks formed in the sky. Countless black holes appeared. The surrounding people also retreated frantically. The two of them were too powerful. He actually blocked it? When the people from the Gu clan saw this scene, they frowned. They did not expect Lin Xian to be able to block the chaotic sword radiance. Wan Jiani frowned as well. He roared and the chaotic sword radiance exploded again. It seemed like he wanted to suppress it completely. However, the power of the 10 extinction swords was also unparalleled. It had an extremely strong sword principle that could sweep through everything. It was simply impossible to break such a divine sword. However, Wan Jiani's eyes were suddenly filled with murderous intent. Go to hell, kid. 3 black bottle gourds flew out of his ring of holding. The gourds cracked open and the chaotic chi inside spread out, instantly shrouding him. When they saw this scene, the pupils of the surrounding people shrunk. Why was there still primal chaos chi? And it did not look like it belonged to Wan Jiani. Damn it, this was not his power. What he did was too despicable. Qin Xiener and Wan Jiani snorted. However, when the Gu family heard this, they sneered. Despicable? You are really naive. This is also a trump card. If you have the ability, use it too. Between heaven and earth, the terrifying chaotic chi was all absorbed by Wan Jiani. On the other side, the chaotic sword was even more terrifying. Wan Jiani smiled proudly. He was confident that with such a trump card, his opponent would definitely not be able to block it. Today was the day for him to take revenge. Boom! The chaotic sword exploded with power again and attacked quickly. The terrifying sword radiance filled the sky. It was as if thousands of stars had fallen and slashed down. With a crack, the 10 extinction swords were broken. Oh no, Lin Xian was in danger. When the surrounding people saw this, they all exclaimed. Once the 10 extinction swords were broken, Lin Xian would definitely die. Lin Xian, Guan Songhai and Qin Xiener also exclaimed. Their eyes were filled with anxiety. However, at this moment, Lin Xian was very calm. Borrowing external power? So what? An extremely terrifying aura erupted from his eyes as he unleashed the breathing technique of dragons. At the same time, the dragon roared inside his body. The roaring dragon soul came out, and the broken 10 ultimate swords exploded with power once again. Then, a sword flew out like a divine dragon, roaring between heaven and earth. He slashed forward. It clashed with the sword of primal chaos once more. Earth-shattering energy filled the air, shattering everything in its path. The people around him couldn't even open their eyes. Damn it, so strong. What happened just now? Wasn't Lin Xian about to lose? How could he still fight back? Some people were surprised. However, people like Gu Feng, the Alcade Saint's son, and the others all had extremely solemn expressions. Their gazes transformed into divine rainbows, piercing through everything. In the next moment, their pupils shrank. Damn it, how is this possible? Gu Feng's expression became extremely ugly. This was because he saw a figure flying backward and coming back. It is Wan Jianyi at this moment. Wan Jianyi was sent flying while spitting out blood. Cracks could be seen on his body. The sword of chaos in his hand dimmed as it split into two halves down the middle. The other people also saw it and immediately cried out in alarm. No way, Wan Jianyi was actually defeated. How is this possible? Even such a terrifying sword of chaos couldn't do anything to Lin Xian? What exactly did Lin Xian use just now? Everyone was surprised. The experts from the Wavering Light Holy Land were also stunned. It couldn't be, right? Did this guy actually win? In front, the Alcade Saint's son looked at this scene with flickering eyes. As expected, what a strong combat power. He will be a difficult opponent in the future. It seemed that everything was within his expectations. Wan Jianyi's face was pale. His confidence was shattered once again. How is this possible? Even such a powerful sword of chaos couldn't defeat the opponent. Damn it, I don't believe it. He stood up and roared at the sky. However, Lin Xian slashed down again, directly splitting him into two halves. Blood mist filled the air, and the chaotic aura was completely destroyed. Wan Jianyi was completely terrified. However, between heaven and earth, a large crack instantly rescued Wan Jianyi. Gu Feng walked out and said in a deep voice, "Kid, stop. With us here, you can forget about killing him." Lin Xian frowned. "I don't know why you saved his life time and time again. However, he has already lost to me twice. He can't pose any threat to me at all. From now on, he is no different from an ant in my eyes." Damn it. On the other side of the void, Wan Jianyi's body recovered. Hearing this, he spat out another mouthful of blood. Indeed, losing to Lin Xian twice made him unable to raise his head for the rest of his life. Lin Xian didn't care about Wan Jianyi. In his opinion, Wan Jianyi was no different from an ant. He stared at Gu Feng. "The battle between us hasn't ended yet. Why don't we have a decisive battle today?" An extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes. The surrounding people sucked in a breath of cold air. No way. Is this kid going to fight with the top genius of the great emperor family? Those people from the Gu family were also furious. "Kid, are you courting death? Who do you think you are? How dare you fight against us?" Endless spatial laws appeared on their bodies. Many spatial cracks appeared around Lin Xian, wanting to swallow him up. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a flash of sword light, he shattered all the spatial cracks. He stood there as if nothing could invade him. "You ants aren't my match yet. Hurry up and scram. Gu Feng, do you dare to fight? How is that possible? Is our spatial laws effective against them?" Those people from the Gu family were stunned when they saw this scene. One must know that people of the same level couldn't even block one of their attacks. Even those late-stage elder powerhouses couldn't block these attacks at all. But now, Lin Xian was completely fine. What's going on? What exactly is his sword chi? Gu Feng's expression also became incomparably cold. "Do you think I'm really afraid of you? However, now isn't the time to fight with you. Wait until I enter the void and get what I want. That will be the time of your death." After saying that, Gu Feng turned around and walked towards the back. The surrounding people sighed. They didn't expect that the shocking battle still didn't happen. However, they also knew that the two of them wouldn't make a move easily. Because if one of them lost, it would have a huge impact on their Dao heart. Just as Gu Feng returned to the mountain peak, the sound of footsteps suddenly came from the void in front of him. What's going on? Is someone coming out? The surrounding people all opened their eyes wide. Then, they looked inside one by one. The footsteps became louder and louder. Then, everyone saw three figures coming out. They stood at the edge of the void. These three people were cold as if they were looking down on everything. When the surrounding people saw this, they all took a deep breath. Among them, a man from the Gu family walked out and cupped his fists. May I ask when can we enter? Who are you? Chapter 4368. The Gu family said, "We're at the ancient clan of the ancients." As soon as he said that, the three people in front were shocked. So you're from the Emperor clan. You can enter. However, only 3 people can enter. Only 3 people? The man from the Gu family frowned. However, Gu Feng said, "All right, 3 it is." Then he looked at the 2 people and said, "The 2 of you follow me." They were a man and a woman. Their status and talent in the Gu family were extraordinary, so they were qualified to enter with Gu Feng. Gu Feng said to the others, "Wait here or you can go back." Then, Gu Feng looked at Wan Jianyi and said coldly, "Heal your injuries first." After saying those words, he led the 2 of them forward and soon entered the void. Looking at the 3 people's disappearing figures, the people on the surrounding mountain peaks all had cold gazes. Someone even said, "We're from the 4 symbols sacred grounds and want to enter to watch." However, the figure in front said coldly, "Sorry, the number of people today is full. Please come again next time." What? It's full? The people from the 4 symbols sacred grounds were stunned. On the other side, the people from the other sacred grounds and even the sacred city all spoke up. However, they were all rejected. "It's really full this time. I hope you won't make things difficult for us." The figure in the void land said coldly. "Saint, what should we do?" The people from the Wavering Light sacred ground did the same. They frowned. The Wavering Light Saint said, "Wait here. I'll go in and take a look." After saying that, he walked forward. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people stopped talking. They looked forward. It's the Wavering Light Saint. Is he going to attack? He's probably going to enter the void land. Lin Xian also turned his head. Is it him? He also remembered the Wavering Light Saint clearly. This person hid very well. He was a very difficult opponent. The figure in the void ahead also frowned when he saw this. "Sir, please stay. I've already been very polite to you. If you still want to enter, don't blame us for attacking." There was a hint of arrogance in the figure's eyes. It was as if he didn't care about the geniuses in the world. The Alcade Saint came to the front. He did not say anything. Instead, he raised his hand and took out a token. He waved it lightly in front of the other party. That person's pupils shrank. What was this? The next moment, he sucked in a breath of cold air, and a deep shock appeared in his eyes. The Alcade Saint's son had indeed said that. How was it? Am I qualified to enter? You can go in. After saying that, the Alcade Saint put away the token. Very good. His figure flickered and disappeared. The surrounding people were all stunned. Didn't you say that the quota was full? Why was he able to enter? You're obviously deceiving us. We'll go in together. Many experts walked out. Up ahead, the figure in the void said, "What? You want to fight?" He didn't know the difference between life and death. That person punched forward. With a loud bang, several figures were sent flying while coughing up blood. Their eyes were filled with fear. How could he be so strong? A bunch of ants, they really don't know the difference between life and death. How dare they behave so atrociously in the void? Another person sneered. The 3 of them looked down like gods. We already said that the quota is full. Everyone, come again next time. Don't make things difficult for us. The 3 of them had contemptuous smiles in their eyes. The surrounding people were shocked. Some didn't believe it and attacked again. There were even older experts who attacked forcefully. Those were late-stage holy venerables, but they were sent flying and coughing up blood in one move. In an instant, more than 100 figures were sent flying. Some of them even coughed up blood and were seriously injured. Their bodies exploded. The faces of the 3 figures in front also darkened. He said coldly, "If there were any more trespassers, they would be killed without mercy." Extremely cold killing intent appeared on their bodies. The surrounding people fell silent. They were too strong, whether it was a one-on-one or a group attack. They were no match for them at all. The strength of these 3 people was really too strong. This void was too magical. It could actually nurture such top-notch experts. What's going on? The void is too strange. Why do I feel that they are much stronger than us? Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai frowned. Even Lin Xian was surprised. Why were there people in the void? These three people were obviously living in the void. But that shouldn't be the case. According to his senior brother, unparalleled Holy King, this was an eternal land. Time didn't flow. How did these people survive? The surrounding people were discussing. What should they do? Should they all join forces? Perhaps they still had a chance. However, at this time, an older figure shook his head and sighed. Don't provoke them. Their identities are very unusual. If we all join forces, we might be able to enter, but it will cause a lot of trouble. Were these people's identities so terrifying? So many experts from the Holy Lands joining forces couldn't fight against them? It seemed that they could only watch from the outside. Everyone sighed. No one dared to attack again. However, at this time, Lin Xian walked out. He was determined to get this void. How could he go back just because of it? So, he walked forward. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were stunned. Even Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai were stunned. They were not confident that they could defeat the people in front. The three people in front looked at him with disdain. How could the people outside be a match for them? However, suddenly they frowned. They realized that there was another person who was recklessly walking over. Kid, didn't you understand what I said just now? Do you really think that I don't dare to kill you? Lin Xian said as he walked. I have to enter the void. If you want to attack me, go ahead. If I'm killed by you, it means that I'm inferior. However, if I can defeat you, I hope that you won't stop me and let me in. Hearing this, the three people in front sneered. You think you can defeat us? What a joke. Kid, I don't care what your identity is or how strong you are outside. In front of us, even if you're a dragon, you'll have to lie down. I said that I'm going in. If you want to attack me, go ahead. Don't hold back. If I'm killed, it means that I'm inferior. While they were talking, Lin Xian had already arrived in front of the three people. It seemed that he really wanted to pass. Courting death. One of the three people's face darkened. He was wearing a purple Taoist robe and had short hair. At this moment, there was a trace of extremely cold killing intent in his long and narrow eyes. I'll fulfill your wish. He stretched out a finger that was shining brightly. It was as if a divine sword was stabbing over. With one strike, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Vast laws spread out. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were horrified. It was so terrifying. It seemed that the three of them had held back previously. Now that they were going to kill, no one could stop them. Lin Xian was in danger. Yes, no matter how strong he was, he could defeat the geniuses outside. However, he had no chance of winning against the people of the void. Some of the older generation figures shook their heads and sighed. He was too reckless. It was useless to retreat now. They had heard of some legends of the void. The people there were very mysterious. Chapter 4369. With a single finger, the wind and clouds changed. Qin Xianer, Guan Songhai, and the others were stunned. Wan Jinyi, who was at the back, was shocked. Then he sneered. This was great. Lin Xian didn't know what was good for him. This attack might be able to finish him off. This way, he could take revenge indirectly. Lin Xian's expression turned grave when he sensed the power. Although he did not know who the other party was, the aura was too terrifying. It was even more terrifying than the chaotic sword light. He did not dare to be careless. He activated his divine body to the maximum and shot out a sharp sword chi with the aura of the dragon soul. It was like a giant dragon roaring. Clang. The two collided in the air and sparks flew. The earth-shattering power almost made people faint. The short-haired young man's pupils shrank. Did he block it? It was unbelievable. One had to know that when over 100 experts attacked together, they couldn't even block one of their attacks. Now, this person could block his attack. Interesting, no wonder you are so arrogant. However, you have completely angered me. Therefore you will die. An extremely terrifying aura spread out from his body, making everyone's hair stand on end. The short-haired young man spread his fingers and formed a giant palm, which slapped forward. On the palm, there was an illusion of a heavenly steel, as if it had crossed time and space. A burst of pressure suppressed everything. As soon as it appeared, the surrounding people felt that their bones were about to break. Even Lin Xian's body let out a roar as he was hit by a huge impact. Go to hell, brat. The short-haired young man sneered. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying light. A sharp sword intent appeared in his hand, as if it could pierce through the 9 heavens. The shocking sword light turned into a sword shadow and slashed out. Boom! The heavenly steel was split in half. Not only that, the short-haired young man was sent flying and spat out blood. His body was almost split in half. How could it be? Everyone was stunned. They didn't dare to believe it. Even the 2 companions were stunned. The injured young man widened his eyes in disbelief. The next moment he roared crazily. You lowly ant, how dare you hurt me? I'll kill you. An even more terrifying aura surged from his body. It seemed like he was about to attack again. However, Lin Xian's figure flickered and appeared in front of him in an instant. Then, with a wave of his hand, a Taiji diagram appeared and blasted the other party away. With a boom, the area in front of him exploded. A Taiji diagram enveloped the other party. Damn it, how dare you! His other 2 companions also regained their senses and roared crazily. When they saw the scene in front of them, they couldn't believe it. Their companions had actually been suppressed by the other party. Release our men and kneel down to die. We will give you a quick death. At the same time, release your 2 companions. Otherwise, you and your 2 companions will suffer a fate worse than death today. Just the 2 of you? Lin Xian turned his head with a look of disdain. Your companion is in my hands. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill him? The 2 of them sneered. Kid, would you dare to do that even if you had 10 guts? Don't you know who we are? Let me tell you, we are the Immortal Guardian clan. We are existences that were placed in this world by the immortals. How dare you attack us? I'm afraid you won't be able to survive in this world. The 2 of them had endless arrogance in their eyes. The surrounding people were stunned. What? Left behind by the immortals? Heavens, are there really immortals in this world? They were all stunned, because it was said that even the great emperors couldn't become immortals. Lin Xian was also shocked when he heard that. They had such a big background? No wonder they were so arrogant when facing the great emperor family. However, were there really immortals in this world? He didn't believe it either. Therefore, he snorted coldly. What Immortal Guardian clan? I've never heard of it. Let me in now and I'll release your companions. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. A hint of coldness appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. You're courting death. The 2 of them were furious. Extremely terrifying auras appeared on their bodies. They were about to attack. However, at this moment, a stream of light flew past in the distance and landed in front of them. Then he also strode toward the void in front of him. The people around them were all stunned. Who was this person? The 2 of them were also furious. Why were there so many people today? Were they challenging them one after another? It seemed that they had to kill a few to intimidate them. Lin Xian turned to look as well and was stunned by what he saw. It's you. The person who came was actually Chao Tianxing. Chao Tianxing came here and looked at Lin Xian in shock. You actually dared to attack them? That's right. You're a person abandoned by the heavens. You don't have to show mercy to them. Chao Tianxing smiled. Then he took out a token and said, I should be qualified to enter. The 2 of them wanted to be angry, but when they saw the token, their expressions changed. Then they gritted their teeth and said, Go in, but you can't save this kid. Chao Tianxing said, He doesn't need me to save him. He ignored them and looked at Lin Xian. I'll wait for you inside. After saying that, Chao Tianxing also went in. The surrounding people were all stunned. Another person had gone in. What exactly was the token that the other party had taken out? They didn't know. Therefore, for a moment, everyone looked at Lin Xian again. Are you a person abandoned by the heavens? You're even less qualified to enter. The 2 of them roared and attacked. Lin Xian's face darkened. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. He had already shown mercy. Since that was the case, he waved the Tai Chi diagram and directly turned the person who was pressurized into a bloody mist. Then he threw a punch. With a bang, he collided with a person's palm. Then, the 10 extinction swords with the aura of the dragon soul erupted and fought with the other person. Boom! There was a shocking sound of collision. The vast power caused the entire world to tremble. Countless cracks had appeared in the surroundings. However, the void was completely undamaged. Obviously, this was a very mysterious place. The two of them were sent flying. One of them vomited blood. The other person's face was filled with terror, because one of his arms was cut off and couldn't be healed. Lowly ant, you'll regret everything you've done. The two people from the Immortal Guardian clan roared crazily. The person who was beaten into a bloody mist also fled into the distance. His body couldn't be fused at the moment. The deities were extremely terrified. Damn it, what's going on? The enemy is actually stronger than us. One had to know that they were from the Immortal Guardian clan and had been cultivating in the void all year round. Who could be stronger than them? If the two people didn't have tokens, they definitely wouldn't have let them in. Chapter 4370. This kid is really too strange. Lin Xian's expression was cold. The power of the dragon sword's soul erupted like a god of war. The Taiji diagram then turned into a world and flew towards the three people in front. The three of them tried their best to dodge, but they were still suppressed. The three of them became terrified, but there was nothing they could do. Lin Xian, on the other hand, walked inside. At that moment, a few more figures walked over from afar. What's going on? There are no advertisements. This time, 5 people walked over. The leader was a man with a majestic gait. When he arrived, he immediately frowned. His 3 companions had actually been suppressed by someone. Who is it? Did someone bring a Sage King's weapon here? In the next moment, they stared at Lin Xian. Is it you? These people's expressions were extremely strange. It shouldn't be. Is this kid so strong? The 3 people who were suppressed said, Brother, be careful. This kid is very strange. Kill him. He actually dares to injure us. The 3 of them roared crazily. When the young man in front heard that, his face immediately turned cold. Attack! With a roar, the 4 people behind him instantly took action. 4 divine steels appeared in their palms, carrying a desolate aura as they suppressed the sky and the earth. Between heaven and earth, there was a shattering sound. The place where Lin Xian was completely shrouded. The Taiji diagram kept spinning to block. Lin Xian, on the other hand, waved his sword again. A dragon's roar sounded, and the sword was mighty. The divine steels were sent flying, and the 4 of them vomited blood. Lin Xian was extremely domineering. He directly charged towards the young man in the lead. He's so strong. He did not expect the person in front of him to be so terrifying. The young man in the lead was instantly furious. His body bloomed like stars, and then many runes appeared around him. He channeled his power to the extreme. A saber light slashed out. The young man in the lead was much stronger than the others. However, compared to Lin Xian's dragon sword soul, he was still not enough. After 10 moves, he was directly sent flying. The Taiji diagram spun and suppressed all of them. The surrounding people were dumbfounded. They couldn't believe it. As for the people from the Immortal Guardian clan, their faces were filled with fear. This was something that they had never encountered in their entire lives. In their eyes, their Immortal Guardian clan was high up above. Even if they were emperor clans, they still carried a hint of arrogance. Not to mention the others. In their eyes, they were all ant-like existences. However, at that moment, the ants in their eyes were actually so powerful that they were able to suppress over a dozen of them. Being high and mighty, and having the corresponding strength, I'm afraid that you guys won't be able to achieve this. Lin Xian looked at these people and sneered with contempt in his eyes. This made these people vomit blood in anger. These people madly roared and threatened, but it was useless. Lin Xian turned around and waved at Guan Songhai and Qin Xian. Let's go together. The 2 of them took a deep breath and followed him. Then the 3 of them walked inside. The surrounding people looked at each other. Many of them even wanted to take action because this was the best opportunity. No one stopped them anymore. However, those older generation figures did remind them that the Immortal Guardian clan was related to immortals and no one dared to provoke them. If they went in now, they would be courting death. When the others heard this, they stopped in their tracks and could only watch from the outside. In their eyes, even if Lin Xian and the other two entered, they would probably die without a doubt. Lin Xian didn't care about this. His goal was obvious. He wanted to come to the void and find power that could help him improve. Behind them, Qin Xianer asked if there were really immortals in this world. Guan Songhai shook his head. He didn't know. However, these people's attitudes were so strong that they didn't even care about the emperor clans. From this, one could easily imagine that their identities were most likely extraordinary. Lin Xian didn't care at all. He was already someone who had been abandoned by immortals. Why would he be afraid of a mere immortal guardian clan? The three of them moved very quickly and walked all the way inside. Soon, a magical scene appeared inside. The terrain here was very primitive, like a primordial era. There were many people standing in front. It seemed like they were waiting for something. At this moment, when they heard the footsteps behind them, the people in front turned their heads one after another. In their eyes, it should be the people who had gone to patrol before returning. However, when they saw Lin Xian and the other two, they were stunned. What's going on? What's going on with this guy? Gu Feng's pupils constricted. The Alcade Saint also revealed a look of surprise. Chao Tianxing, on the other hand, smiled. In addition, some people looked over. Some of their faces were familiar, and some were very unfamiliar. These people's gazes fell on Lin Xian and the other two. Guan Songhai and Qin Xianer immediately felt the pressure. Because everyone here wasn't weaker than them. They were all extremely terrifying existences. Lin Xian didn't care. He looked around and greeted Chao Tianxing. Then he looked at the others. Gu Feng, the Alcade Saint, and the others naturally didn't need to be mentioned. He had known them for a long time. However, he also knew some of the others. He had only met them once. They were the people he had seen in the immemorial grotto. At that time, they had sat beside the reincarnation protector. They should have been with Han Chong. This meant that these people should have come from the buried Emperor Star. No wonder they could come here. At the same time, he also understood why the Immortal Guardian Clan's people had said that the number of people was full. It seemed that the people from the buried Emperor Star wanted to monopolize this place and didn't want the people from the true spirit world to come. If it wasn't for Gu Feng's identity as an Emperor clan member, he wouldn't have been able to come here. The people from the buried Emperor Star were truly tyrannical. Han Chong and the others also turned their heads. When they saw Lin Xian and the other two, they were also shocked. It was actually that brat? They cried out in alarm. Another person asked, Han Chong, who is he? Do you know him? Which paradise is he from? No, his origin is different from ours. He's from the second star realm, Holy City. Hearing this, contempt appeared in those people's eyes. Holy City? They didn't put it in their eyes. One of them sneered. How could such a person have the qualifications to come here? The Immortal Guardian Clan's people also frowned. Someone walked over and said, Who let you three in? Do you have a token? Are you from the Emperor clan? Hearing this, Gu Feng also sneered. Lin Xian said, No need to ask. I don't have a token and I'm not from the Emperor clan. I fought my way in. Those people outside have already been suppressed by me. What? As soon as these words were spoken, the surrounding people were stunned. Even the people from the buried Emperor Star were stunned. Fought his way in? This brat really dared to say that. Chapter 4371. The people from the Immortal Guardian clan were stunned. You dare to attack our people? Are you tired of living? These people exuded a biting cold killing intent. Guan Songhai looked as if he was facing a great enemy. Lin Xian laughed. Those people from before had the same attitude towards me. They were all suppressed by me. If you want to attack me, go ahead. If I'm killed, it's because I'm weaker than you. But if you're suppressed by me, I think you'll regret attacking me. You're courting death. You think you're qualified to say that? One of them rushed over and slapped out. Demon subduing palm. With a roar, a terrifying palm that could suppress 10,000 demons came crashing down. However, it was slashed apart by Lin Xian's sword. That person's body was slashed in half and he roared crazily. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent. He said, "Since I'm here, I'm prepared. Either you accept our existence and let us see the secrets of the nothingness place, or you can attack me. I don't mind causing a ruckus here. But if you destroy anything in the nothingness place, don't blame me." Lin Xian was abnormally strong. His words seemed to have suppressed the people around him. The people from the Immortal Guardian clan had ugly expressions. Damn it, this guy actually dared to behave so atrociously in their territory. One must know that even the people from the Emperor clans and the people from the Buried Emperor's Star follow the rules here. However, this guy was too arrogant. Kill him. Tear him into pieces. Let everyone know the consequences of being arrogant in the nothingness place. However, at this moment, two figures walked over from afar. It was a man and a woman. Their auras were even more obscure and mysterious. It was obvious that their status was not ordinary. Seeing this scene, the people from the Immortal Guardian clan turned their heads and looked over. One of the men said coldly, "That's enough, all of you stop." However, the other people wanted to say something, but the man's face sank. "What's wrong? You don't even want to listen to me?" The people from the Immortal Guardian clan became incomparably respectful. Then they looked at Lin Xian and the other two. "Brat, your luck is very good. This time, I'll make an exception and let you stay here. However, you better behave yourself. If you dare to be arrogant again, don't blame us for being rude." Lin Xian was also stunned. He didn't expect the other party to not make a move. He raised his head and looked at the man and woman in the distance with a puzzled expression. The auras of these two people were indeed strong. After the two mysterious people finished speaking, they left and did not come down. For a moment, the surroundings became incomparably quiet. Lin Xian and the other two started to look around curiously. Further ahead, there was a huge canyon. No one knew where it led to, but at this moment, everyone was looking at the canyon. It was obvious that the secret of the Void Lands lay in this canyon. However, these people were all waiting and did not enter. He didn't know why. Lin Xian waited for a while before walking forward. He felt that the aura coming from the canyon was becoming more and more mysterious, and there were even some that were extremely familiar. This made him extremely surprised. "I don't know. What is it?" Therefore, he decided to go over and take a look. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were stunned. "Kid, what are you trying to do?" The person from the Immortal Guardian clan walked over again and said coldly, "Who allowed you to go in? Wait here. Can't you see that the others don't dare to move?" Lin Xian frowned. "This canyon is so big. It shouldn't be a problem for one or two people to go in, right? But do you dare to stop me? Do you know what kind of person is meditating inside? Do you think you can disturb such a person? If you go in and disturb him, I'm afraid you'll suffer a fate worse than death. Therefore, if you know what's good for you, listen to us and stand here obediently. We're doing this for your own good." Lin Xian frowned. "Is that so? What kind of person is so powerful? I really want to see." With that, Lin Xian walked forward. The people from the Immortal Guardian clan were completely enraged. "Damn it. Do you really think that we won't dare to attack you?" Previously, they didn't attack Lin Xian because the genius from the Immortal Guardian clan had spoken up. But now, this kid in front of them was being so arrogant. It really made them furious. Therefore, someone immediately attacked. With a slap, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. A flood surged towards Lin Xian. It was as if the entire ocean had descended. Lin Xian was unfazed. He flung his palm forward, unleashing a boundless divine flame, which completely suppressed the surging flood. Then he grabbed forward. The 5 elemental laws flew out and formed a 5-elemental mountain, directly suppressing the other party. The surrounding people were all stunned. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. He suppressed their companion with a single move. No wonder he could enter so domineeringly. Lin Xian's figure was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he had already arrived at the edge of the canyon. However, at this moment, someone attacked again. "So, our people are meditating inside. Do you dare to attack us?" The person who spoke was a man. His eyes were also filled with a disdainful aura. He was sitting together with Han Chong and the others. Obviously, he was from the buried Emperor Star. After Lin Xian heard this, he also turned his head. The blue-robed figure said, "You should know who we are. What do you think the consequences of offending us will be? Are you trying to stop me? I've long heard that the people from the buried Emperor Star are very strong. However, I haven't had the chance to fight. Now, I don't mind fighting." Lin Xian's eyes also blossomed with a cold light. He felt that there was an even greater call from inside. Obviously, there was something inside that was very suitable for him. Therefore, he had to enter. "Do you really think you can be so arrogant? Do you really think you can be so arrogant? Previously, we didn't attack you because we were giving face to the immortal Guardian clan. Now that you're acting so recklessly, it seems that I can only take action." He walked out, and there were 6 stars revolving around his palm. A desolate aura covered the sky and earth. It was as if his palm had turned into the universe. Boom! With a slap, the sky shook. Qin Xiener and the others' expressions changed. This was too powerful. Was this the strength of the people from the buried Emperor Star? Lin Xian waved his hand and the 10 absolute sword formation revolved around him. Terrifying sword chi also rushed out. It collided with the 6 stars of the opponent. Large patches of the void were torn apart as boundless power swept out in all directions. How could a mere star dare to compete with the sun? Lin Xian coldly snorted and the 9 yang divine body blossomed with light. Like a peerless sun, it shone in all directions, causing the stars to become dim. Damn it! The blue-robed man from the buried Emperor Star was thoroughly enraged. With a loud roar, the 6 stars on his body became even more terrifying. They connected together, as if they had turned into a small universe. They quickly rushed over. Lin Xian's eyes blossomed with a golden light that could see through everything. But that was it. It was over. The corner of his mouth rose into a smile. At the same time, the 10 absolute sword formation erupted once again. Chapter 4372. It's over? What a joke! Especially the people from the buried Emperor Star. They were filled with disdain. So what if the other party was strong? Could he fight against them? They didn't believe it. When the blue-clothed man who attacked heard this, his face turned gloomy. He roared angrily and charged over again. His body blossomed with a terrifying light and the entire world started to shake. However, Lin Xian's expression was ice-cold. He coldly snorted. The people from the buried Emperor Star were only SOS. After saying that, he formed a seal and slapped forward. The man-ruler's seal slapped forward and terrifying light swept out in all directions. At that moment, everyone's expression changed. In fact, there was even a deep and low voice that sounded from the canyon. It was as if a god was roaring. The surroundings started to collapse. What's going on? At this moment, everyone's expression changed. Even the people from the immortal Guardian clan narrowed their eyes. Such a scene had never happened before. What exactly did this brat do? Lin Xian raised his brows. This aura seemed to be related to his man-ruler seal. It seemed that there was something in this canyon. He had to go in. The blue-clothed man from the buried Emperor Star was sent flying by the palm. Many large cracks appeared on his body. Was he injured? The people from the buried Emperor Star exclaimed. They found it hard to believe. Lin Xian was incomparably powerful. The man-ruler seal in his hand was even more terrifying. Who would dare to attack again? The cold voice resounded in all directions. For a moment, everyone was stunned. Especially in the canyon, there was a voice. This made everyone worried. If they were to fight here, would it affect the people who were comprehending inside? Therefore, the people from the buried Emperor's Star did not attack again. Don't attack. If you affect the others, it will be very troublesome. So, let this kid go in first. When our people finish comprehending, we'll kill him. None of the surrounding people dared to make a move. Even the people of the immortal guardian race were stunned. Lin Xian brought Qin Xiener and Guanzhenghai. The 3 of them walked into the canyon again. After entering, they felt a mysterious aura enveloping them. This place is too unusual. Qin Xiener exclaimed. There was someone ahead. Guan Songhai was also surprised. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. There were indeed people in front of them. There were 3 figures. The 3 of them stood at different positions in the canyon and began to comprehend. What are they looking at? Qin Xianer was shocked. Lin Xian said, they probably won't dare to make a move in this canyon, so we are safe here. Everyone, start comprehending. As he spoke, he took a deep breath as his eyes shone with a cold light. He began to look around. Gradually, he felt a strange change in his surroundings. It was as if he was no longer in a canyon, but a vast expanse of land. A deafening voice could be heard coming from the front. What is that? Lin Xian was stupefied. He discovered that a great battle was taking place in front of him. Furthermore, the battle was so terrifying that it was simply unimaginable. Suddenly, he saw the entire world shatter as a palm slammed down. The aura carried by that palm was too terrifying. It was like a seal of heaven and earth, causing his hair to stand on end. At the same time, Lin Xian was even more shocked. That was the man-ruler seal. He was too shocked. He discovered that one of the 2 parties in the battle was actually using the man-ruler seal. He was too shocked. He did not expect to see the man-ruler seal here. Moreover, it was used by such a peerless expert. He had once heard from the unparalleled Sage King that a battle was recorded in this void. It was a battle between 2 peerless experts 100,000 years ago. Now it seemed that the peerless expert from back then was able to use the man-ruler seal. Perhaps the man-ruler seal that he obtained was left behind by this peerless expert. A large seal of heaven and earth descended from the sky with an unparalleled domineering aura. However, the opponent was equally terrifying. He was not weak. Facing such a terrifying seal, the figure was surrounded by multicolored light as scriptures appeared. Then, endless light condensed into a sword light. It directly pierced through the void. This attack was really too powerful. The aura that it carried was not any weaker than the man-ruler seal. It was as if it could destroy the 9 heavens. What sword technique was this? Lin Xian was also shocked. He was an expert in the way of the sword and had the great dragon sword spirit. At this moment, seeing this shocking sword, he was also shocked. The battle between the 2 was really too powerful. Not long after, Lin Xian felt that he was under a huge pressure. Even his body was about to crack. But in the next moment he was forced back, his face pale. The surrounding scene also disappeared. On the other side, Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai were also pale. Their eyes were filled with deep shock. Lin Xian, I saw it. There is a shocking battle. Qin Xianer exclaimed. Lin Xian nodded his head in agreement. I'm guessing that the distance here is related to the distance from the battlefield. The closer to the canyon, the closer the distance to watch the battle, and the stronger the pressure. In an instant, they understood the rules here. Guan Songhai gasped. We are quite far from the canyon, and it is already so terrifying. I wonder how the 3 people in front of us are enduring it? They looked over curiously. The 3 people's auras were also extraordinary, but they were obviously different. 2 people came from the same place, and the other person's aura was very similar to the person from the Immortal Guardian clan outside. Among the 3 people, one was an expert from the Immortal Guardian clan, and the other 2 were from the Buried Emperor Star. Among the 3 people, a woman was the furthest away. She stood there and sat down cross-legged. Her body was shaking, but she was still able to endure it. As for the other 2, their faces were pale and they were sweating profusely. It was clear that they had endured a great deal of pressure to reach this step. This is a rare opportunity, so we have to quickly comprehend it, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai also nodded. Next, the 3 of them began to comprehend. Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai were naturally able to see the battle as well. However, it was almost impossible for them to cultivate the man-ruler seal. They could only comprehend it from the battle between the 2 experts. It was probably not only them, but the others as well. The only one who could cultivate the man-ruler seal and strengthen it was Lin Xian. Because Lin Xian had obtained the man-ruler seal's inheritance imprint, he was able to do it. Otherwise, he would not have been able to cultivate it. Lin Xian's goal this time was to strengthen and perfect his man-ruler seal. Although he had obtained the inheritance imprint, it was still far from being comparable to the figure from 100,000 years ago. Now that there was such an expert who could use it countless times in front of him, how could he miss such an opportunity? Thus, Lin Xian forgot about everything else and focused all his attention on the battle. Of course, apart from the man-ruler seal, there was also that shocking sword. Lin Xian did not miss it either. Chapter 4373. One day later, Lin Xian opened his eyes and walked a few steps forward before sitting down cross-legged again. Then, his figure appeared in the battle image from 100,000 years ago. However, this time, the distance was even closer. Just like this, every 2 days, Lin Xian would take a few steps forward. 10 days later, Lin Xian had already surpassed the previous figure. Previously, there were 3 people sitting cross-legged there. At this moment, he had already surpassed one of them. There were still 2 people in front of him. Hui Yu felt that extremely terrifying power and immediately opened his eyes. Then, sweat flowed down his face. So terrifying. As expected of a peerless expert. It has been 100,000 years, but he is still so terrifying. This place is really too mystical. Even though he came from the buried Emperor's star, he had to admit that this place made him feel incomparably mysterious. However, in the next moment his pupils shrank. What's going on? Why is there another person in front of him? He recognized the 2 people in front of him. However, at this moment, a third figure had appeared and was standing in front of him. Someone had surpassed him. Who is it? Is it his companion? However, that figure was extremely unfamiliar to him. He even wanted to see the other party's face clearly. However, he knew that although he was not far away, these few steps were extremely difficult to cross. Damn it, who is it? He was too shocked. Could it be that there were other experts from the Immortal Guardian clan who came in? That should be the case. He guessed that only the people from the Immortal Guardian clan could surpass him. After all, this group of people had the opportunity to come here to comprehend from the moment they were born. However, even if it was someone from the Immortal Guardian clan, Hui Yu was not willing to accept it. He decided to surpass the other party. In the next moment, he closed his eyes and started to comprehend again. Not long after he closed his eyes, Lin Xian opened his eyes again and continued to walk forward. Soon, he surpassed the second person who had come before him. At this moment, the second person opened his eyes. His face also became pale and he did not even have the strength to stand up. At this moment, he was stunned. He discovered that someone had surpassed him. Who is it? Is it that guy from the buried Emperor's star? Jing Si suddenly turned his head and discovered that Hui Yu was still there. Then who was this person? He only took a quick glance and realized that Lin Xian was really unfamiliar. He had never seen him before. This meant that they were not from the Immortal Guardian clan. They should be people from the buried Emperor's star? Had another expert from the buried Emperor's star come? Damn it, this guy was actually so strong that he could surpass him. He gritted his teeth and hurriedly swallowed a medicinal pill to recover his aura. He was prepared to give chase again. Lin Xian, on the other hand, completely ignored the 2 of them. At this moment, he was completely stunned. This was because he realized that as he moved forward and got closer to the battlefield, he could feel that the battle ahead was also changing. Apart from that heaven-shaking sword strike, Ting-ing, these 2 experts had also used 2 more ultimate moves. A figure stood in front of him like a sword god. His cold voice resounded throughout the world. The man-ruler seal was indeed worthy of being an ultimate technique passed down from ancient times. He was indeed strong. On the other side, the battle godlike figure also said, "Your invincible sword is also incomparably terrifying. Although you did not succeed in obtaining the great dragon sword, your strength is enough to shock me." After Lin Xian heard this, he was too shocked. At this distance, he could actually hear the conversation between the 2. It turned out that the heaven-shaking sword strike was called the invincible move. What was even more shocking was that this sword expert had once wanted to obtain the great dragon sword soul. However, he had failed. He knew that the great dragon sword soul was incomparably powerful. Those who could obtain it were all the strongest people in the world. He could be considered to be heaven-defying luck to be able to obtain it. He did not expect that the two peerless experts he met were actually related to him. At this moment, the peerless sword expert in front of him spoke again. Apart from the invincible sword, I have a few more moves. You should also experience them. Is that so? Of the 4 ancient seals, apart from the man-ruler seal, I happen to know one more move. Why don't you experience it as well? The battle-godlike figure also spoke in a deep voice. In the next moment, the aura of the two people changed again. The peerless sword saint's body carried an extremely terrifying aura. The previous invincible power had turned into an immortal and indestructible aura. It was as if it could last forever. This move was called indestructible. With a slash of the sword, heaven and earth lost their luster. On the other side, the battle-godlike expert also formed a seal with his palms. However, it was no longer the man-ruler seal, but another kind of seal. Within his hand's seal, a mountain appeared and began to grow in size. It was like a mountain from the ancient times. The aura on it was too terrifying. It directly pressed down, suppressing all things. This was the mountain-embracing seal. It was another 2 peerless skills. It was incomparably sonorous, shaking continuously between heaven and earth. In the next moment, everything in front of him could not be seen. Lin Xian took a step back, his face turning pale. He suddenly opened his eyes. It was so terrifying. An extremely cold light bloomed in his eyes. He did not expect that the man-ruler seal was only one of the 4 ancient seals. In addition, there was also the mountain-embracing seal. He must learn it. In addition, he also wanted to obtain the invincible move and the indestructible move. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath, activated his physique to the extreme, and then took a few more steps forward. Damn it, how is this possible? When Jing Si saw this scene, his face became incomparably ugly. It was already very difficult for him to take a step forward, but the other party was still able to take 2 steps in a row. Damn it, how did this guy do it? Behind him, Wang Yue spat out a mouthful of old blood. He forced himself to walk forward. In the end, he was injured, so he had no choice but to retreat. However, right at this moment, the mysterious figure at the front stood up. She was a woman with her back facing everyone. At this moment, she took 3 more steps forward and sat down cross-legged again. Even Lin Xian was surprised by the scene before him. Who exactly was this person? He was not in a hurry. He believed that given time, he would definitely surpass the other party. Next, Lin Xian began to comprehend the 4 peerless skills in the illusion from 100,000 years ago. Time passed slowly. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. 2 months had passed. In the first month, Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai could not take it anymore. They could not continue to comprehend. Otherwise, their bodies and souls would be shattered. Therefore, they could only withdraw from the canyon. However, fortunately, the people of the Celestial Guardian clan outside did not attack them. This allowed the 2 of them to breathe a sigh of relief. Although now, their faces were pale and they were even a little injured, they were still very happy. This was because the comprehension in the previous month had allowed them to gain a lot. Although there was no increase in their cultivation, the application and execution of their skills had definitely surpassed before. Chapter 4374. After the 2 of them came out, more people went in. Even Hui Yu had no choice but to come out. Han Chong and the others came out and asked, "How was it?" Hui Yu said, "I gained a lot. However, there was a despicable guy who surpassed me. I don't know who he is." Once these words were said, the expressions of the surrounding people changed. Could it be that guy? They thought of Lin Xian. Because Lin Xian did not appear from beginning to end. It was impossible. These people's expressions became unsightly. Next, more and more people went in to comprehend. After all, because of the strength of the buried Emperor Star, others were not allowed to enter. Now that Hui Yu had come out, others could also enter. Chao Tianxing, Gu Feng, and the geniuses of the Gu family all entered one after another to comprehend. When they saw the battle 100,000 years ago, They were incomparably shocked. Then they all focused on comprehending. In the blink of an eye, another month passed. Among them, many people had already come out. Only 5 people were left inside. In addition to the mysterious woman at the front, there was also Lin Xian, Gu Feng, Chao Tianxing, and another person from the Immortal Guardian clan. Lin Xian continued forward. He was very close to the mysterious woman. He was only a step away. In the next moment, he closed his eyes and began to comprehend again. This time, he discovered that a figure had appeared in the battle ahead. It was the mysterious woman. He could actually see her in the battle. It was too inconceivable. During this period of time, Lin Xian had been comprehending the battle scene. He even used the heavenly secret divine eyes to imprint the scene in his mind as much as possible. The man-ruler's seal had become even more terrifying after he comprehended it. The power of the man-ruler's seal had far surpassed before. Although the mountain-embracing seal was mysterious and unfamiliar, it was still one of the 4 immemorial seals. Therefore, he had an innate advantage when cultivating it. As for the unrivaled form and imperishable form, they were extremely terrifying sword techniques. Lin Xian had also comprehended them deeply. After all, the other party had almost obtained the Great Dragon Sword Soul, while he was the owner of the Great Dragon Sword Soul. Therefore, with his talent and the Great Dragon Sword Soul, it was not impossible for him to comprehend these 2 moves. Just like that, another 5 days passed. This time, Lin Xian finally took a step forward and stood shoulder to shoulder with the mysterious woman. Finally, he could see who the other party was. Lin Xian turned his head and looked over. In the next instant, the mysterious woman revealed a look of astonishment. He turned his head to look at her. To be honest, she didn't believe that anyone could reach her level. Their gazes clashed in the air, causing the void to shatter. Then, both of them revealed looks of surprise. "It's you. It's you." 2 voices sounded at the same time. Lin Xian was stunned. He knew this person. It was Yen Ryu. Yen Ryu was also stunned. She didn't expect it to be Lin Xian. Then, a smile appeared on her face. It was really surprising, but thinking about it, it made sense. There aren't many who can stand shoulder to shoulder with me, and you're one of them. Lin Xian was speechless. He was truly confident. He was already arrogant enough, but he realized that the other party's words were even more arrogant and domineering. "Why you here? Could it be that you've already entered the buried Emperor's Star?" Lin Xian asked. Yen Ryu nodded. "That's right. I went in earlier than you. Now that I've returned, I'm here specifically for the Eternal Lands." "You haven't entered the buried Emperor's Star?" She was also surprised. Lin Xian said, "Not yet. However, I've already obtained the qualifications to enter the buried Emperor's Star. I estimate that I'll be able to enter in a few months. I'm looking forward to it. I wonder what kind of expression those fellows in the buried Emperor's Star will have when they see you. I think that you'll stir up a storm in the buried Emperor's Star." "Am I that kind of person?" Lin Xian smiled. However, thinking about it, he was afraid that it was true. After this group of people entered the buried Emperor's Star, they would definitely stir up a new storm. "Alright, I don't have much time. I can't comprehend it for a long time. So, let's meet again in the buried Emperor's Star." Yen Ryu also nodded. "Alright, after you go to the buried Emperor's Star, come to the Demon Emperor Mountain to find me. Alright, let me tell you something. There's more than one Eternal Lands. If you have the opportunity in the future, you can find a few more." Lin Xian nodded and did not say anything else. He memorized this information in his heart and then comprehended it with all his might. 10 days later he left. Indeed, he did not have much time because he still had to go to the buried Emperor's Star. If he missed this opportunity, who knows how many 100 years he would have to wait. This time around, Lin Xian had gained a lot. Apart from the fact that his man-ruler seal had become stronger, he had also gained a lot. Apart from the sealed Emperor Star, he also obtained 3 great divine abilities: Mountain-Embracing Seal, Imperishable Form, Invincible Form. Apart from this, he also met an old friend, Yen Ryu. He also obtained some information regarding the buried Emperor Star. What surprised him the most was that Han Chong and the others that he had heard before were all from the paradise. Yen Ryu came from the Demon Emperor Mountain. Thinking about it, the buried Emperor Star situation should be even more complicated. Furthermore, it was said that it had connections with many clans and sacred grounds in the true spirit world. Just as Lin Xian left at the same time, in the core area of the Immortal Guardian clan's Voidland, an old man opened his eyes. The surrounding people were unceasingly kneeling and kowtowing. Greetings, clan head. This old man was the Immortal Guardian clan's clan head. At this moment, he woke up from his cultivation and asked in a deep voice, "Is everything all right? Nothing happened, right?" He was just asking normally because, in his opinion, no one would dare to behave atrociously in their territory. However, this time, a middle-aged man said, clan head, something did happen." "Oh, what happened?" The old man was surprised. "It's like this. There was a person who did not have the qualifications to enter. However, he was extremely powerful and suppressed more than 10 of our disciples. Then, he came in forcefully and even entered the Eternal Canyon ahead." There was actually such a thing? The Immortal Guardian clan's clan head immediately frowned. "You didn't make a move?" The surrounding people said, "We all wanted to make a move. However, that kid's speed was too fast. From fighting to suppressing him, it only took him a dozen or so moves. Furthermore, at that time, we were right outside the Eternal Canyon. We were afraid that a fight would affect the canyon. Thus, we did not dare to rashly make a move. By the time we were preparing to dispatch experts, we discovered that the kid had already entered the Eternal Canyon. Furthermore, at this time, another person said that our disciple said that the kid seemed to be someone abandoned by the Immortal Realm." Hearing this, the old man from the Immortal Guardian clan stood up. "What? Someone abandoned by the Immortal Realm? Then all the more we can't keep him alive. You all can handle this matter." "Yes, clan head. Rest assured we will definitely handle it well." Chapter 4375. After coming out, a purple-haired elder said coldly, "Follow me." "Has that person come out yet?" "Elder, he hasn't come out yet. However, his 2 companions have already come out." "All right, let's capture his 2 companions first. I want to see if he will escape or not." Soon, the people from the Immortal Guardian clan moved out. Although Guan Songhai and Qin Xian'er's strength had increased greatly, they were still outnumbered. Soon they were suppressed. Lin Xian did not know about this. When he came out, he narrowed his eyes. He wondered how Xian and Songhai were doing. Did they obtain any good fortune? He came out and was about to ask. However, he realized that the 2 of them were not there. What's going on? The 2 of them were definitely not in the canyon. However, they were not outside the canyon. Could it be that they left early? Impossible. Lin Xian shook his head. Unless there was something special, the 2 of them would not leave without saying goodbye. Damn it, could it be that the people from the buried Emperor Star or the Immortal Guardian clan had made a move? When the surrounding people saw Lin Xian come out, they all had a cold expression. At this moment, the void in front of him fluctuated and a few figures walked out. "You should be the person who was abandoned by the Immortals, right? How dare you come here without permission? Kneel down obediently and come with us." Lin Xian's face was also cold. He asked, "Did you capture my 2 companions? Kid, you can't even protect yourself. Why are you still in the mood to care about others?" The people from the Immortal Guardian clan sneered. This time, not only were there young geniuses, there were also some older people. Their eyes were filled with disdain. So what if the other party is strong? Can he beat the young disciples? Can he beat the older generation experts? Boom. Lin Xian's eyes burst out with a cold light. "You dare to touch the people around me? Looks like you don't know what's good for you." As he spoke, he slapped out with his palm. Courting death. When the people opposite him saw this, they were furious. One of them clenched his fist and punched out, colliding with Lin Xian's man-ruler seal. Earlier, his eyes were filled with disdain. However, when the 2 of them collided, his expression changed. Not good. How could this power be so terrifying? With a cracking sound, his entire arm was broken. He spat out a mouthful of blood as he was sent flying. His face had turned extremely pale. How could this be? The surrounding people were all stunned. The people of the Celestial Guardian clan narrowed their eyes. Their opponent was actually so strong. Let's attack together. The other 3 experts of the older generation moved out quickly. The laws on their bodies surged out, turning into extremely terrifying palms that slammed over. Lin Xian could see that it was an imitation of the man-ruler seal. However, the difference was too great. These people had not obtained the inheritance of the human ruler's seal, nor did they have the great dragon sword soul. Therefore, the power they could display was not even 1 in 10,000. How could they contend against the true human ruler's seal? The next moment, he took a deep breath and displayed the true man-ruler seal. With a loud boom, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The 3 of them were sent flying. The palms of the 3 people were completely shattered. Their eyes were filled with fear. How could this be? Their opponent was actually so strong? This was the human ruler's seal. This guy actually displayed the human ruler seal, which was even more terrifying than ours. The surrounding people were dumbfounded. The people of the Celestial Guardian clan were even more shocked. They had been in the void all this time, so they could often comprehend the eternal battle inside. Naturally, they knew that there were extremely terrifying mystiques inside, but no one could completely obtain them. They could only rely on their own comprehension to display them. Even so, it was not something that ordinary mystiques could contend against. Now that the 3 of them had displayed such a huge palm, they thought that their opponent would definitely not be able to block it. However, who would have thought that their opponent would be even stronger than them? It was just like the one in the eternal battlefield. With another man-ruler seal, Lin Fan rushed forward and crushed his opponent. The 3 of them were beaten until they spat out blood, their faces filled with despair. Lin Xian stepped on the heads of these people and asked coldly, "Tell me, where are my 2 friends? Damn it, how dare you?" Before they could finish speaking, Lin Xian kicked one of them until his body exploded. Then he stared at the second person. "Are you going to speak?" The second person's face turned extremely ugly. I said, "Come with me." They had originally come to tell the other party the news. However, they had been arrogant and thought that the 3 of them would be able to kill the other party. That was why the situation had turned out this way. Now that they could not win, they would naturally lure the other party over there. After all, they had already set up an inescapable trap there. "Let's go." Lin Xian led the 2 of them and flew forward quickly. He had to save Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai. Soon, he arrived at the front and saw Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai being suppressed by 2 huge mountains. Their faces were extremely pale. There were even injuries on their bodies. Instantly, Lin Xian's eyes emitted an unparalleled murderous intent. When the surrounding Immortal Guardian clan people saw this scene, they also stood up. "Brat, you're here. Prepare to die." Boom. With a thunderous boom, Lin Xian directly smashed the 2 elders of the Immortal Guardian clan into pieces. The killing intent radiating from him was incomparable. "How dare you attack my friends? Go to hell." The aura on his body became more and more terrifying. Then he slapped out, "Damn it, how dare you injure our people?" On the other side, the Immortal Guardian clan people were also enraged when they saw this scene. They attacked wildly. In an instant, 6 figures charged over. The void continued to shatter. Countless large cracks spread in all directions. They wanted to kill Lin Xian forcefully. However, after one attack, the 6 figures were forced back. Their eyes were filled with fear. Human ruler seal. So strong. Could it be that he was so talented that he could comprehend to such a level in just a few months? Damn it. Kill. The Immortal Guardian clan people charged over once again. Lin Xian held the sword in his hand. Sword chi was condensed by him. Then, an invincible sword slashed down. The sword chi that reached the sky caused the world to collapse. This sword seemed to be invincible in the world. Instantly, those people spat out blood and were sent flying. Their bodies were torn apart. Too strong. Those young disciples' eyes were filled with despair. To be honest, they had always thought that they were high and mighty. They had never put the sacred city or sacred ground in their eyes. Perhaps only the people from the Emperor race and the buried Emperor star could make them take them seriously. But now, a young man from the second astral realm was so strong. Not only did he make these young people feel despair, but even those of the older generation were beaten to the point that they could not fight back. It was hard to believe. Chapter 4376. Lin Xian became more and more courageous as he fought. His expression was incomparably cold. With another cold shout, Lin Xian immediately split the two mountains apart with an invincible sword. He saved Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai. Are you all right? Lin Xian took out pills and gave them to the two of them. The two of them gritted their teeth and said with ugly expressions. They were fine, just a little injured. Damn it, these people were too despicable. Don't worry, I'll take you away, Lin Xian said. The surrounding people all charged forward, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. You want to leave here? How naive. I don't believe that you are truly invincible. More and more people rushed over. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with a biting cold killing intent as he formed a seal with his palms. A mountain appeared between heaven and earth as if it had crossed the ancient primordial era and directly suppressed the world. The surrounding people were stunned in an instant. Their faces were filled with fear. Mountain-embracing seal. This brat was actually able to unleash this divine ability? Catch him, he has a secret. Someone roared and tore through the void, arriving behind Lin Xian and quickly charging over. Lin Xian waved his sword qi and swept in all directions. The 10 ultimate sword formation was activated, shattering everything. At the same time, he used the Tai Chi art. The Tai Chi art flew out and split the 6 figures apart. Boom. He used the mountain-embracing seal again. Impossible. This time, even the elders were stunned. Using a peerless divine ability like the mountain-embracing seal once had consumed too much energy. His body couldn't withstand using it twice in a row. How did this kid do it? Lin Xian attacked forcefully and fought in all directions. Previously, the people of the Immortal Guardian clan were disdainful, but now they were really desperate. They realized that with so many of them, they might not be able to stop him. Go and get the patriarch. These people roared. Buzz. Between heaven and earth, a huge palm slapped over. Its power was endless, and it carried the aura of a saint king. Lin Xian's pupils constricted when he saw this scene. Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai couldn't escape at all. Their bodies were extremely cold. The attack of a saint king. Were they going to die? However, at this moment, Lin Xian took the two away. Then, a pagoda appeared. Clang. The great sage pagoda was shaking nonstop. Even though they were inside, Lin Xian and the others felt their blood boiling. Boom. He was actually forced to retreat. But fortunately, they blocked this attack and retreated into the distance. The surrounding Immortal Guardian clan members all laughed coldly. This brat is dead for sure. With the patriarch personally making a move, how could he possibly escape? However, when they saw that the 3 people in front of them were actually unharmed, their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. How could this be? That was an attack from a Saint King. Lin Xian's face turned cold as well. How terrifying. The Saint King's giant palm was truly terrifying. Looks like there's going to be a tough battle coming up. A sharp light burst out from his eyes. Right now, he even dared to challenge a Saint King. No wonder you dared to be so arrogant in the Void Land. Between heaven and earth, an old voice rang out. Then an old man walked out. He stood above the 9 heavens, carrying with him terrifying laws that covered the sky and earth. It seemed that the Immortal Guardian clan was equally despicable and shameless. A Saint King actually dared to make a move on young people like us. Don't you think that's embarrassing? There's no need to talk about rules when dealing with people like you who have been abandoned by the immortals. The old man in the sky said coldly. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Is that so? I'm the temple master and also a member of Wushuang City. If you kill me, you'll become an enemy of Wushuang City and Wushuang City. Besides, these 2 friends of mine are also top prodigies of the Great Sage City. Have you thought about how you're going to deal with the Saint City's attack? Lin Xian stood there, his voice resounding. So what if the Void Land was strong? Sure enough, the surrounding immortal guardian clansmen all sucked in a breath of cold air and their expressions changed. However, the immortal guardian clan leader sneered. Looks like you don't know us well enough. We don't care about a mere saint city. Moreover, I won't kill your two friends. I only want to kill you. So, kneel down and accept your death. A cold killing intent appeared between heaven and earth. Lin Xian's face turned even colder. We won't leave. We'll advance and retreat with Lin Xian. Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai said coldly. They were now firmly on Lin Xian's side. Lin Xian took a deep breath. It seemed like he could only fight with all his might. The great dragon sword soul in his body roared, and a terrifying aura surged out. Lin Xian was going to use his trump card. In the sky, the immortal guardian clan leader sneered. It's useless. No matter what you use, it's useless in front of a true Saint King. He raised his palm again, and it was about to land. A shocking battle was about to break out. However, at this moment, a sigh was heard. Stop it? Who dared to interfere in their affairs at this moment? The immortal guardian clan members sneered. Because from the voice, it sounded incomparably young. The immortal guardian clan leader snorted coldly. Who dares to interfere in my affairs? I said stop. At this moment, the void shattered, and a phantom appeared. It was a peerlessly beautiful woman, like a fairy from the ninth heaven. The moment she appeared, she stared at the immortal guardian clan's leader. What? You don't understand my words? Lin Xian is my friend. Try and lay your hands on him. This person was the woman from the buried Emperor Star. Many immortal guardian clan members were shocked. Even if she was from the buried Emperor Star, she shouldn't be so arrogant. However, the immortal guardian clan's leader's pupils shrank. He knew more information. The identity of the person in front of him was not ordinary. His expression became unsightly. He didn't expect that the abandoned immortal was related to this person. Fairy Yen, he's an abandoned immortal. Think carefully. The phantom that appeared was Yen Ruyu. She didn't say anything and just stared coldly at the other party. Seeing that Yen Ruyu didn't reply, the immortal guardian clan's leader sighed. But I won't attack him this time. Fairy Yen, I won't do anything in the Void Land, but if I meet him again in the future, I'll be fine. If I meet him again, don't blame me for being impolite. In the sky, Yen Ruyu's figure slowly disappeared. As for the immortal guardian clan's leader, he stared at Lin Xian. Brat, you're lucky. I'll spare you this time. You can leave. Who is this person? He's so young. He should be from the younger generation. However, he was able to influence the sacred venerate's decision. Guan Songhai and Qin Xianer were both stunned. What shocked them even more was that this person was friends with Lin Xian. Lin Xian was also shocked. It seemed that Yen Ryu's identity in the buried Emperor Star was not ordinary. Otherwise, why would a sacred venerate be so afraid of her? The surrounding immortal guardian clan members also didn't understand. However, they didn't dare to disobey their leader's orders. Therefore, they could only gnash their teeth and stare at Lin Xian and the other two. Lin Xian sneered. Immortal guardian clan, very good. I'll remember you. The next time we meet, I'll kill all of you. Including you, the sacred monarch. Lin Xian raised his head and looked at the sky. His eyes were emitting a biting cold aura. Chapter 4377. How dare you? The people of the immortal guardian clan roared. The clan leader of the immortal guardian clan snorted. He didn't care about such danger at all. To him, the other party was just an ignorant ant. How would he know how powerful a sage king was? Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand and led Guan Songhai and Qin Xianer outside. No one dared to stop them as they passed. Looking at the two disappearing figures, the elders of the immortal guardian clan also came over. Clan leader, are you really going to let this kid leave just like that? Yeah, who is that woman? Why should she be afraid of him? There's no need to talk about this. I'll spare his life this time. However, he's an abandoned immortal. One day, we'll tear him into pieces. The clan leader of the Immortal Guardian clan was also extremely unhappy. However, when he thought of Yenryu's identity, he felt a tinge of fear in his heart. We're finally out. Qin Xianer heaved a sigh of relief. Guan Songhai's expression also eased a lot. This time, it was really too dangerous. Fortunately, they came out safely. When they thought of their gains inside, they clenched their fists. Outside, there were still a lot of people outside the Voidlands. They continued to wait. At this moment, someone exclaimed, "Look, someone came out." They all looked over. Who is it? It's those 3 people? When they saw Lin Xian and the other 2, they were also shocked. Previously, the 3 of them had fought their way in. Originally, they thought that these people would definitely die after entering. But now, that didn't seem to be the case. These people actually came out safely. How is that possible? Some of the older experts were shocked. The Immortal Guardian clan didn't attack them? What happened? Or do these 3 people have some mysterious identity? Facing these people's gazes, Lin Xian and the other 2 didn't care at all. They rose into the air and prepared to leave. However, at this moment, a biting cold aura blocked their way. Who dares to attack us? Lin Xian frowned. Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai were also on guard. This aura carried a very strong power. In the next moment, they saw 3 figures descending from the sky. One of them was the blue-robed man who had fought with Lin Xian before. He stared coldly at Lin Xian. "Kid, you're finally out. People from the buried Emperor's star. What, was the lesson I taught you last time not enough?" Lin Xian looked at the blue-robed man. The blue-robed man snorted coldly. "Don't be so arrogant. Last time, we were in the void, so I didn't dare to use my full strength. But now that you've come out, we don't have any scruples." This blue-robed man was called Xinglan. At this moment, he said coldly, "I will let you know the consequences of offending us." Lin Xian cast a disdainful glance at Lin Xian. "Before we entered the canyon, you were already not my match. Do you think you can contend against me now? You're the one who bullied my junior brother." At this time, another figure beside Xinglan spoke up. His aura was stronger than Xinglan's. "This is my senior brother, Dao P. Kid, you're dead meat." Xinglan sneered. After Lin Xian heard this, he laughed. "If you're such a piece of trash, I'm sure your senior brother isn't much either. Hurry up and get lost. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." After the surrounding people heard this, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. This kid actually dared to be so arrogant in front of the people from the buried Emperor's star. He was too reckless. In front of them, Dao Po's lips curled into a cold smile. "Arrogant enough. But I want to see if you have the right to be arrogant." As soon as he finished speaking, he stepped forward. Then he pointed his finger. A saber light, with an indomitable aura, slashed directly at him. This saber was simply too terrifying. There was a scorching aura spreading from it. Everywhere the saber light passed, the void would shatter. That power caused the surrounding experts' expressions to change. "Be careful." Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai cried out in alarm. Lin Xian said, "Don't worry, I can handle it." He took a step forward and slapped out. The powerful force shattered heaven and earth. In an instant, the 2 of them clashed in the air. Suddenly, a terrifying energy swept out in all directions. Did he block it? When Dao Pa saw that Lin Xian dared to fight with him directly, a cold look appeared in his eyes. He sneered and waved his hand. A long saber appeared in his hand. He was a saber wielder and a peerless saber saint. On the long saber, a shocking light appeared. It was like starlight that kept pulsating. It swept towards Lin Xian. Boom, boom. The light was extremely terrifying. In the process of colliding with Lin Xian's fist, it split open and emitted a terrifying aura. It was as if it wanted to burn Lin Xian's fist. What a terrifying saber light. Behind them, Qin Xianer and Guan Songhai were shocked. The surrounding people also held their breaths. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The power of flames could burn everything. But it couldn't hurt his body. With a cold snort, he clenched his hand into a fist and unleashed the Tiger Demon Fist, capable of total annihilation. A sound like a tiger's roar roared between heaven and earth. In heaven and earth, the phantom of a ferocious tiger appeared and charged towards the terrifying saber light. At the same time, Lin Xian formed a seal with his palm and struck out with the man-ruler seal. As if it was the hand of a god from ancient times, it slapped forward. Dao Po's face was extremely ugly. He didn't expect Lin Xian to be able to block his saber light. Not only that, Lin Xian could even launch a counterattack. He couldn't stand it. With a roar, an extremely powerful force surged out of his body. "I'll let you see what I got in the Eternal Canyon." After speaking, an extremely terrifying aura surged out of his body as if it was going to break through heaven and earth. "Take my saber." He roared and held the long saber with both hands and slashed down. "So powerful!" Countless people exclaimed. Qin Xiener and Lin Xian's pupils shrank. They could naturally see how terrifying this saber was. It seemed that Lin Xian had also comprehended the invincible sword. Too powerful. What exactly did these people find in the Voidland? The surrounding people were extremely envious. In the face of such a shocking saber light, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. "You want to compete with me? You're courting death. Then I'll let you see what I got." After speaking, he roared. A sword aura condensed in his hand and he held it. Then he slashed forward. The invincible sword. At this moment, Lin Xian looked as though he was invincible. The sword aura pierced through heaven and earth and charged forward. The saber and sword collided and swept in all directions. The two forces were competing. Everyone quickly retreated. Even Xinglan and Lin Xian retreated far away. Xinglan's face became extremely ferocious. To be honest, he originally thought that his senior brother would be able to kill Lin Xian easily. Chapter 4378. This was especially true for his senior brother. After his senior brother unleashed his ultimate technique, his opponent was not at a disadvantage at all. In fact, the power of his opponent's sword chi was even stronger than his senior brother's. Boom, boom, boom. It was as if a great apocalypse had occurred in front of them. Then, the saber light was actually torn apart, splitting into two halves. Dao Po's pupils shrank. He instantly retreated, turning into countless saber lights that scattered in all directions. Only by running into the void crack did he manage to dodge the attack. In the next moment, he walked out. However, his expression was extremely ugly. Unparalleled sword. His expression was cold. He could naturally tell that Lin Xian's sword was very similar to the sword light in the eternal battlefield. "Brat, you're quite capable. However, I wonder if you'll be able to block my buried Emperor Star's ultimate technique." Clearly, Dao Po was going to unleash the ultimate technique that he had learned from the buried Emperor Star. Taking a step forward, he let out a furious roar, and a terrifying law swept out. The heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. A saber light condensed in front of him, and he grabbed it. An extremely berserk aura was emitted from his face, sweeping out in all directions. The might of the flames was also surging non-stop. 5-wind blazing saber. Clearly, this was an extremely terrifying ultimate technique. Boom. When the saber slashed out, the terrifying saber light caused the surrounding people's expressions to change. No late-stage holy venerate would be able to block this saber. It seemed that his senior brother was finally serious. In that case, this battle could finally end. In the distance, when Xinglan saw this scene, the corners of her mouth rose into a smile. Soon, this brat would know the meaning of despair. Daring to fight against them was simply courting death. Was this the ultimate technique of the buried Emperor Star? Lin Xian sneered. He formed a hand seal and slapped out the man-ruler seal once again. As he slammed his palm forward, the surrounding power of the heavens and earth shattered continuously. Everyone's expressions changed. Even Xinglan and the others, who were sneering in the distance, narrowed their eyes. Boom. The wind and clouds changed between heaven and earth. It was as if a god had appeared. This aura caused countless people to cry out in alarm. How terrifying! What kind of divine ability was this guy using? Most likely, even ordinary holy cities wouldn't have such a divine ability. Where did this guy get it from? Yeah, Why do I feel like the martial arts I got from Burial Earthstar are even more powerful? The surrounding people cried out in alarm. In the distance, Xinglan's expression also turned ugly. He gritted his teeth and said, "This was the man-ruler seal. This kid had actually learned so many martial arts in the everlasting battlefield." It was truly unbelievable. One had to know that they had also gone in, so they naturally saw it. The unique skills in battle also made them envious. However, with their cultivation bases and talents, it was impossible for them to master such a lost technique in a short period of time. Moreover, the terrifying pressure brought about by the battlefield prevented them from comprehending for a long time. Thus, not a single person was capable of unleashing such power. But now Lin Xian had done it. Dao Po's pupils constricted. Impossible. It was just a facade. I don't believe that he can beat the saber art that I've been practicing all this time. In the next moment, he roared angrily. He executed his saber technique to the extreme. Boom. Between heaven and earth, a huge saber light swept across. The surrounding people retreated once again. With such an aura, even a sacred venerate would be turned into ashes instantly. In the face of such a terrifying unique skill, Lin Xian attacked forcefully. The man-ruler seal was completely unleashed. Boom! Under the might of this palm strike, the entire world began to tremble non-stop. Under countless shocked gazes, the two unique skills finally collided fiercely again. It was as if 10,000 claps of thunder had sounded. An astonishing power spread out in all directions. At that moment, the surrounding ground broke open and the sky tumbled. A surge of energy rushed up to the clouds and tore the void apart. This time, the crowd retreated even further. In fact, when the people in the void saw this scene, they all came out to watch the battle. When they saw this scene, they were equally shocked. At this moment, a cold voice resounded from within the light that filled the sky. The unique skill of Burial Emperor Star was only SOSO. After speaking, the man-ruler's seal descended from the sky and became even more terrifying. There seemed to be the sound of a dragon in heaven and earth. Then, with a cracking sound, the huge saber light cracked again. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people's pupils constricted. Impossible! Even Xinglan's heart was in his mouth. Could it be that his senior brother was going to lose? He couldn't believe it. At that moment, another voice rang out. "Damn it, I won't lose." It was the voice of the Saber Soul. He roared angrily. The shattered saber light did not disperse. Instead, it gathered together again and a blood-red light appeared. It was obvious that he was already using his secret skill and even burning his blood. He was going to use his full strength to unleash a shocking saber attack. Sure enough, under such a crazy activation, the five-wind blazing saber technique became even more terrifying. One saber light even turned into 5 saber lights. They enveloped the void. "Useless brat, I'll let you see my strongest unique skill. Kill them all." Under such a violent attack, very few people below the sacred venerate realm could withstand it. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He formed another seal with his palms and a deep voice rang out. Mountain-embracing seal. Heaven and earth continued to shatter. A huge mountain seemed to have transcended time and space and appeared in the 9 heavens. Then it fell fiercely. Boom! The ground instantly cracked open. Those people in the distance were also sent flying by a force. Many people vomited blood. They were terrified. What was that? Could it be that the mountain was an illusion? Why did it feel like a sacred mountain? Countless people were in a sorry state. Their faces were filled with fear. It was the mountain-embracing seal. Xinglan also exclaimed when she saw the scene. The people of the Immortal Guardian clan naturally saw it too. Their eyelids twitched violently. Damn it, this brat's talent is too strong. Under the astonished gazes of the crowd, the majestic godly mountain began to descend from the sky. It collided with the 5 sabers. Instantly, another wave of super-powerful energy swept out in all directions. However, this time, the 5 saber lights could not withstand it and were all shattered. Damn it. How was that possible? Dao Po's face turned ugly. What was that? He had never seen it before. However, he felt that the aura was extremely terrifying. It was as if it could suppress everything. When the 5 saber lights shattered, he vomited blood and his face turned pale. In the next moment, he frantically retreated. However, he was still a step too late. His back was covered by the mountain. He immediately vomited blood and was sent flying. Chapter 4379. Boom, boom, boom. Between heaven and earth, there was chaos. After a long time, the image of the sacred mountain slowly disappeared. In the next moment, everyone looked carefully. There was sacred blood floating between heaven and earth. It was abnormally terrifying. Was he injured? Everyone was shocked. Xinglan clenched his fists. He almost fainted from shock. He realized that his senior brother was injured. It was a serious injury. Half of his body was broken and he was in a sorry state. The people from the Immortal Guardian clan were stunned once again. Between heaven and earth, there was silence. How was this possible? I actually lost. Dao Padagu spat out blood. He really couldn't believe that he would lose to an ant in his eyes. As for Lin Xian, he walked over with a mocking look in his eyes. The Emperor Burial Star's secret technique was only SOSO. Or was it that he was too trash and couldn't display the power of the secret technique? They had all seen the image of the battlefield. However, he realized that Lin Xian's secret technique was stronger than his. Could it be that Lin Xian's talent was better than his? What a joke! As a genius from the Emperor Burial Star, he couldn't accept this. It was a slap in the face. It was a ruthless slap in the face. He, who had always been high and mighty, was now being stepped on. Daopa couldn't accept this. Qin Xiener sneered. I was wondering how powerful you were. How dare you block us? Now, it seems that you're only SOS. Guan Songhai snorted. How dare you challenge Brother Lin with such a cultivation? You're courting death. Go back and cultivate for another 1,000 years. Damn it. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to tear you into pieces. Dao roared into the sky. Xinglan and another person flew over. When they arrived, their faces were cold and they emitted a terrifying aura. Do you want to attack together? Do you think I'm afraid of you? Guan Songhai snorted. A terrifying ocean appeared behind him. I haven't lost yet. At this moment, Daopa stood up again. His body was restored and his face was pale. However, his eyes were blood red. In the next moment, a force rushed out from his body and turned into a blood-red saber. He slashed out. After this slash, the laws of the 9 heavens and 10 earths burned. At the same time, half of Dao Po's blood was instantly burned clean. Blood Demon slashed with his mad blade. A ferocious voice resounded between heaven and earth. Xinglan and the other woman gasped in surprise. Were they going to use their trump card? Qin Xiener and Guan Songhai also frowned. Naturally, they could feel how terrifying this strike was. He had probably already surpassed the Holy Venerate realm. Lin Xian also laughed. Do you want to risk your life? But do you have the qualifications to do so? Brat, you're dead for sure. The might of this saber strike already surpassed that of a Holy Venerate, unless one was a Holy King. Otherwise, you can just die. As soon as he finished speaking, the blood-red long saber flew over at an unimaginably fast speed. In the blink of an eye, he arrived near Lin Xian and the other 2 and descended from the sky. The ground split open and the surrounding void instantly turned into a black hole. This brat was finally going to die. Xinglan's lips curled into a sinister smile. Even though his senior brother was seriously injured this time around, so what? The fact that they were able to kill the other party showed that they were still powerful. The other party was still an ant. It was impossible for him to make a comeback. The people from the Immortal Guardian clan also laughed. They had long wanted to make a move. However, they didn't have the chance before. Now that they could see the other party die with their own eyes, they could finally vent their anger. As for Lin Xian, he snorted coldly. The Great Destruction spear flew out and he held it in his hand. One strike. The sky fell and the earth cracked. Boom, boom, boom. Black demonic chi pierced through and collided with the blood-red demonic saber. Suddenly, there was a shocking sound of destruction. In the next moment, the blood-red demonic saber shattered again and turned into a sea of blood that spread in all directions. The sound was like thousands of thunderclaps. How was this possible? Xinglan was dumbfounded. The people from the Immortal Guardian clan were also stunned. Dao Po's pupils shrank as he stood there in shock. In the next moment, his body swayed and he was sent flying. He was directly pierced by a black spear. Dao Po was completely dumbfounded. That moment just now was his most powerful trump card. It could kill any holy venerate. After all, he had used his blood and life as the price for it. Even so, he couldn't hurt the other party. Instead, he was pierced by the other party. Damn it, why was this happening? The immense pain brought him back to reality. Feeling the terrifying aura in front of him, his face turned ugly. It was the aura of a sage king. Damn it, this was the weapon of a sage king. Lin Xian sneered. Do you think you're the only one with a trump card? In my opinion, you're the one who's an ant. He held the Great Destruction Spear and lifted the other party into the air. Blood continued to drip down. Below, there was a huge rift valley. The surrounding people were all stunned. Xinglan roared. Damn it, let go of my senior. How dare you hurt my senior? You're dead meat. The other person also roared. Dao Po also said, Kid, do you think you'll have a good ending after hurting me? The people from the buried Emperor Star will kill you. Lin Xian snorted. How dare you threaten me at this point? Do you think I don't dare to kill you? With the Great Destruction Spear, the other party's body was torn into pieces. The blood mist that filled the sky tried to escape with the soul, but Lin Xian used the Taiji diagram to slap it back. The Taiji diagram fell and formed a space that locked the other party. Do you dare to kill me? Dao Po roared crazily. Lin Xian said, No, I won't. However, there's a situation that's worse than death. If your cultivation is gone, I want to see how you're going to be arrogant then. What? You dare to cripple my cultivation? Dao Po roared crazily. He was really afraid. I'm from the buried Emperor Star. Do you know what the consequences are for touching me? Lin Xian sneered. It's too late to be afraid now. Even if I don't attack you, do you think you'll let me go? Since that's the case, I don't mind teaching you a lesson. I'll let you people from the buried Emperor Star know that there are some people you can't afford to provoke. After saying that, Lin Xian waved his hand and a dragon-shaped sword chi flew out, enveloping the other party's blood, mist, and soul. The power of the great dragon sword spirit destroyed everything and completely destroyed the other party's cultivation. But after the sword chi returned, Lin Xian retrieved the Taiji diagram. The blood mist that filled the sky condensed back into the appearance of Dao Po. At this moment he was in a sorry state. He roared crazily. My cultivation! My power! Damn it! You actually crippled me! What? Xinglan was completely enraged. The two of them wanted to attack. In the distance, there were people flashing. The people from the Immortal Guardian clan also walked out. Lin Xian said, If anyone dares to come, I'll make them suffer a fate worse than Dao Po. The Great Destruction Spear bloomed and a terrifying power enveloped the world. Everyone stopped in their tracks. In the hands of such an expert, unless a true sage king made a move, no one would be able to do anything to him. Lin Xian looked at Xinglan and said coldly, Go back and tell the buried Emperor Star that it was me who did it. If you're unhappy, come and find me. Chapter 4380. Let's go. After saying that, Lin Xian brought Qin Xianer and Guan Canghai into the sky and tore through the void. No one dared to stop them during the entire process. After Lin Xian left, these people heaved a sigh of relief. Then they all exclaimed, Too powerful. This guy simply swept through everything. Yeah, I feel like he's like a god of war. He's a young great emperor. Countless discussions rang out. As for the people in the buried Emperor Star, their faces were incomparably ugly. Hurry up and bring me back. I won't let him off. Dao Po roared crazily. Xinglan also hurriedly brought Dao Po and tore through the void to leave. Lin Xian returned to the Jade Lake to check on the situation of the Sage Kings. The Sage Kings had already left. Even the unparalleled Sage King wasn't present. This surprised Lin Xian. What's going on? The Jade Lake's sacred master walked out and said, these people's injuries were more or less healed. It seemed like something urgent had happened. So, these people left. What's going on? Lin Xian was surprised. He didn't know. However, he received another piece of news. The dark red divine dragon and the others had also returned. They even came here to look for him. Are they back? Lin Xian was delighted. This way, he could bring these people to the buried Emperor Star. Lin Xian prepared to return to the shrine. After returning, he ordered the shrine's people to look for the dark red divine dragon and the others and asked them to return quickly. After all, it hadn't been long since they entered the buried Emperor Star. With the shrine's powerful strength, they began to search and send out messages. Sure enough, they were finally summoned back. Damn, kid, what are you doing? I'm looking for treasures. Don't delay me. After the dark red divine dragon arrived, he started to make a big fuss. The toad also said, where's that kid? Hurry up and accompany me. After he arrived, he stared at Lin Xian. Kid, you dared to bully me before. See how I'll take revenge now. Previously, he had entered several places with the dark red divine dragon and his strength had greatly increased. Now, he actually wanted to attack Lin Xian. The toad laughed at the sky. An extremely powerful voice flew out and covered the sky as if it was the voice of the heavens. Lin Xian didn't care at all. He slapped out with his man-ruler seal, tearing apart the law of sound. Then he used the mountain-embracing seal to completely suppress the toad. In 2 moves, the toad was beaten down. He cried out in surprise. Holy shit, what kind of divine ability was this? It was too powerful. The dark red divine dragon was also shocked. Kid, when did your strength become so strong? I don't think there are many holy venerables who are your match. Beyond that would be the strength of a Saint King. You can't be so heaven-defying that you can fight against a Saint King, right? These should be the lost 4 primordial seals, right? You actually know 2 of them, that's really surprising. Another laughter was heard. Then, Black Mountain, who was wearing a black robe, floated over. The information on him was even more mysterious. Lin Xian was surprised. He grabbed the little snow-white monkey and gave it some spirit fruits. At the same time, he said, why do I feel like you've become stronger? Aren't you a remnant soul? Can you cultivate too? Of course, don't you know who I am? Black Mountain's face was filled with arrogance. The North Demon also came. When he saw Lin Xian's strength, he was also shocked. He thought that he could surpass you. He didn't expect that he would be defeated by you again. The group of people gathered together and were very happy. Lin Xian got the deity's palace to hunt some demon saint-level demonic beasts for dinner. Then they started to talk about their own experiences. When they heard that Lin Xian had participated in the Dao discussion and obtained the qualifications to enter the buried Emperor Star, their eyes widened in envy. Black Mountain also said, good, it's finally going to open. It seems like it's time to enter the buried Emperor Star. Is your fellow going too? But how are you going to go? Lin Xian was surprised. Black Mountain smiled mysteriously, don't worry about that, I have my ways. However, I think it won't be easy for you to enter the buried Emperor Star. What do you mean? Lin Xian was puzzled. Black Mountain said, since the human world has come out, they won't let it go. In the last period, they will definitely attack crazily. So, you have to be careful. Moreover, the buried Emperor Star is much more terrifying than you think. It's not certain whether it's a blessing or a curse. What do you mean by that? Toad, Rainbow Dragon, and the others asked. However, Black Mountain shook his head and said, it's nothing. There are some things that I can't tell you in advance. Otherwise, it will lose the meaning of entering the buried Emperor Star. You have to rely on yourselves. However, is it about the human world? I can help you. After all, I'm also very unhappy with those guys. It seems like there's going to be a battle. That's good. Why don't I use the last chance to have a decisive battle with the human world? There's no need for us. I think the Deity Dao Union is already planning. Black Mountain said. At this moment, Peacock walked over and said, Palace Master, someone is asking for you. She says that she's Qin Xiener and wants to see you. She's here? Let her in. Lin Xian was shocked. They had just separated, so why was Qin Xiener back? Soon, a beam of light tore through the void and arrived nearby. Lin Xian, you have to help me. Qin Xiener cried. Lin Xian was shocked. What's going on? Qin Xiener said that my master is in danger. Sacred ruler Biyue is in danger? Lin Xian was stunned. Did the people of the human world make a move? Qin Xiener shook her head. What's going on? Tell me the details. Following that, Qin Xiener said some things. After Lin Xian heard it, he was also shocked. It turned out that it was about the second astral realm. The Joyful Union Palace had always been under the control of sacred ruler Biyue. However, she had an enemy, her junior sister, Ziyu. At the same time, Ziyu was an extremely terrifying person. She had been stuck at the half-step sacred ruler realm and was only one step away from becoming a true sacred ruler. However, she had not managed to make a breakthrough in the past few hundred years or even 1,000 years. Although there was a confrontation, sacred ruler Biyue was not worried. But now, sacred ruler Biyue had brought a genius to the true spirit world and had even been injured. On the other side, her junior sister, Ziyu, had broken through and become a sacred ruler. She had taken control of the sacred city and even wanted to kill sacred ruler Biyue. Sacred ruler Biyue did not know about this. After returning to the sacred city, she was suddenly attacked. Moreover, she had been cursed and poisoned by the great sage. Although she had recovered, her strength was not at its peak. She was trapped for a while and might be in danger. Lin Xian frowned. He suddenly thought of Yushirchia. Back then, her strength had improved by leaps and bounds. She had caught the eye of an important person in the Joyful Union Palace and taken her away. Chapter 4381. This was originally a matter of Hehuan Palace, so ordinary people couldn't interfere. However, Lin Xian and Qin Xiener's relationship wasn't ordinary. In addition, Luiyue Saint King was on their side. Therefore, Lin Xian decided to help. Therefore, he said, "Don't worry, I'll help you investigate the situation." Then, he closed his eyes and formed a seal with his hands. He planted an imprint in Yushirchia's soul, so he could contact her. As expected, he received a response not long after. It was from Yushirchia. After hearing the news, Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes, his expression grave. "What's wrong?" The Dark Rainbow Divine Dragon and the others asked. Lin Xian said, "The situation isn't good. I'm afraid this isn't just a matter of Hehuan Palace." Then what was it? Qin Xiener's face was also pale. She didn't know what was happening in the second astral realm. Lin Xian said, "According to the situation I received, that half-step Saint King's sudden breakthrough didn't seem to be a coincidence. Someone is secretly helping him." It was said that before the breakthrough, Acheron Palace's silver corpse Saint King went there and stayed. He only left after the breakthrough. Could it be that he was the one who helped him? The toad was also shocked. He Shen's eyes flashed. He said, "Based on what you said, Silver Corpse Saint King is connected to the human world." It seemed that the human world was secretly helping him. It seemed that they wanted to use this method to obtain another saint city and increase their strength. That's right. Lin Xian nodded. Then he said, "We can't let the human world succeed. We have to help Luiyue Saint King. I'll go to the Jade Lake Sacred Ground and tell the Jade Lake Sacred Leader to contact the other Saint Kings and quickly return to the second astral realm. Otherwise, if they had to use this method, only his saint city would be in danger." Then, Lin Xian started to act. Soon, he returned from the Jade Lake Sacred Ground and returned to the temple. "Let's go. We have to hurry to the second astral realm." He didn't bring too many people. After all, it was going to be a battle between Saint Kings. Numbers didn't have much of an advantage. Lin Xian, He Shan, and the others moved quickly. They took the super teleportation. At the same time, the Jade Lake Sacred Leader started to contact the other Saint Kings. Second Astral Realm. At this moment, the second Astral Realm was also extremely shocked. That was because they discovered that something shocking had happened. Previously, Wushuang City had disappeared, and then Acheron Hall had suffered heavy losses. All of these things were shocking. Now, these sacred cities had changed again. This news came from the Joyous Union Palace. It was said that the Joyous Union Palace had a new holy master. The original closed Moon Saint King was replaced by the Purple Moon Saint King, who once again commanded the world. This shocked everyone. What was going on? Had the original Saint King fallen? For a moment, everyone was discussing animatedly. The people in the Joyous Union Palace were even more shocked. A few people resisted, not willing to do so at all. In the end, they were forcefully suppressed. A great battle broke out. Many people fled, but even more people were trapped. Submit or be killed. It could be said that the situation was extremely critical. A figure in a purple robe stood in the hall. She wore a crown on her head, and her eyes were filled with boundless sharpness. She was the Purple Moon Saint King. At this moment, there were many people standing in front of him. Some of them were originally his subordinates. Some of them had sought refuge with him, and now they were all listening to his orders. Yu Shirchia was also standing among them. The Purple Moon Saint King asked, "Is there still no news of the closed Moon Saint King?" Reporting to the Sacred King, "There is no news yet. We don't know where he is hiding. He was previously poisoned and has not fully recovered. Before he came, he was ambushed by us. Where can he run to when he is severely injured? Seal all the subordinate worlds. I want him to have nowhere to run." The Purple Moon Saint King was in a very good mood because she felt that her senior sister was no threat to her. She had waited for this day for too long. "All right, all of you can leave now. Continue to search for news. Once you find him, inform me immediately. Second, quickly make those people submit. If they do not submit, kill them directly. Destroy their souls." Soon these people went out to carry out their tasks. Only the Purple Moon Saint King was left in the hall. At this moment, the void behind her cracked open. A figure walked out and said coldly, "I have already done it for you. Shouldn't you fulfill your promise?" The Purple Moon Saint King stopped smiling. She said, "What's the hurry? It's not over yet. I want to see my good senior sister's soul destroyed with my own eyes." The cold voice reverberated in the hall. At the same time, in the second astral realm, a huge spatial whirlpool appeared. Then, a few figures appeared. It was Lin Xian and the rest. "They are finally back." Lin Xian took a deep breath. Qin Xianer was extremely anxious. She said, "I don't know how it is." Lin Xian said, "I'll know after asking around." Soon he heard the news. In the end, he found out that the astral realm where the Joyous Union Palace was located and the surrounding subordinate worlds were all sealed. What happened inside could not be spread out. Qin Xianer's face became extremely ugly. Not good. It seems that she has completely controlled the entire sacred city. Even those worlds have to listen to her orders. If this goes on, I'm afraid all of us will be destroyed. Let's go take a look nearby and wait for the right time. I have already informed the Sacred Kings. I think those Sacred Kings will definitely not ignore this. They flew forward. Soon, they arrived in the vicinity of the Joyous Union Palace. There was indeed a peerless array protecting the place ahead. A terrifying aura filled the entire starry sky, making it impossible for people to get close. What a terrifying power! The dark red dragon and the rest exclaimed. Black Mountain's eyes flickered and a smile appeared on his face. "I have a way to enter." Hearing this, Lin Xian was stunned. Qin Xianer was overjoyed. "Really? Senior, please hurry up and help." Black Mountain said, "I can help, but I have some requests. If everything is peaceful in the Joyous Union Palace, I have no objections. But if your Joyous Union Palace really fights and the world is destroyed, then I may help and borrow something." Borrow something? Qin Xianer was stunned. She did not understand what he was saying. She was extremely anxious now. "Senior, please help. Once you succeed, my Joyous Union Palace will be extremely grateful. Whatever Senior needs, my Joyous Union Palace and I will give it to you with both hands." "Very good." Black Mountain nodded. Lin Xian frowned. "What are you up to now?" Black Mountain smiled mysteriously. "All right, kid, You are also an array expert. Come and help me with that dragon. I want to tear open the array. Let's go in. Next, Black Mountain, Lin Xian, and the Dark Red Dragon took action. The three of them were all array experts. In addition, Black Mountain was the remnant soul of the great sage. Lin Xian had a sacred king weapon. Hence, they tore open a corner of the array. Then, he walked in without making a sound. After entering, Lin Xian frowned. There was an extremely strong blood aura inside. The sky was red. It was obvious that a huge battle had happened. Qin Xianer's face was pale and she almost fainted. There was no need to think. There must have been a huge battle here. Chapter 4382. After entering, everyone was shocked. It seemed that they had to find Luiyue Saint King first. Everyone looked at Qin Xianer. Qin Xianer said, I don't know where she is either. Lin Xian took a deep breath and said, let me do it. He used his soul imprint to contact Yushirchia and found that Yushirchia didn't know either. Everyone was looking for Luiyue Saint King. Lin Xian said, Luiyue Saint King was injured and ambushed. She's hiding now. I don't know where she is. But it's obvious that she's trapped. We have to find her quickly. At the same time, there might be more than one Saint King here, so we have to be careful. At least, before Peerless Saint King and the others arrive, they had better not find us. Lin Xian had entered the Saint City before. Previously, he and Fu Hongye had gone to the Acheron Hall. But there were conditions at that time. Silver Corpse Saint King wasn't there at that time, and a large number of Acheron Hall's experts had left, so they could sneak in. This time, there were more than one Saint King here, so they had to be very careful. Lin Xian opened his heavenly secret divine eyes and looked around. He saw some special power. It was the aura of a Saint King. Lin Xian led the way and walked towards the Joyous Hall. As the Saint City, the Joyous Hall occupied many worlds. It was like looking for a needle in a haystack. But fortunately, the heavenly secret divine eyes were very magical, so they could follow the general direction. They transformed into the appearance of the Joyous Hall's disciples and flew quickly. But in the end, they still met the people. It was a team of about 50 people. They were also looking for Luiyue Saint King. At this moment, when they saw Lin Xian and the others, they frowned. For you, we were ordered to find Luiyue Saint King. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. He had already disguised himself as a disciple of the Joyous Hall. However, the Taoist in front asked, which elder are you under? Lin Xian naturally couldn't answer, so he didn't answer. Instead, he waved his hand and a terrifying sword qi spread out. He slashed it directly. The sword qi enveloped the people in front. Courting death. Those people shouted angrily and wanted to fight back, but how could they be Lin Xian's opponent? Under this sword, more than 20 people turned into a bloody mist. It was destroyed in an instant. The surrounding people were all stunned. He had killed more than 20 saints with a single strike. How terrifying was that? Damn it, an enemy had come in. They wanted to roar, but the array formation flickered between heaven and earth. The dark red divine dragon sneered coldly, already on the defensive. You want to send a message? Impossible. The toad jumped out as well. Watch me. The two of them attacked and killed all the people in front of them. They set off again. Although the people who were killed were from the Joyous Union Palace, Qin Xianer didn't stop them because these people were their enemies. Qin Xianer also personally took action. Next, everyone sped up. He could feel that those people were also chasing after the Holy King's aura. Searching. If she was found by Purple Moon Saint King's men, then Closed Moon Saint King would be in great danger. Next, they encountered some enemies again. They attacked and killed those people. However, at this moment, fog filled the surroundings and sealed the entire space. Hundreds of figures appeared in the surroundings. They were wearing ice-cold armor and their auras were terrifying. In an instant, they covered the surroundings. A cold voice sounded. Have we been discovered? The dark red divine dragon frowned. The little white monkey widened his eyes in confusion. It shouldn't be. Lin Xian was also confused. Qin Xianer's face changed. Oh no, they must have found out that I'm here. As expected, a man in the sky said coldly, Qin Xiener, we guessed that you would come back secretly. I didn't expect you to really come. But are you looking for your master? It's useless. She's already severely injured. So, you'd better submit to us obediently. Maybe if I'm in a good mood, I can let you live. Otherwise, I'll let you know what it means to live a life worse than death. The surrounding people sneered. They had hundreds of people on their side and only a few people on the other side. The difference was too big. They didn't care about these people at all. Qin Xiener snorted coldly after hearing that. Her face turned extremely cold. How dare you betray the Holy King? You'll all go to hell in the end. You're really stupid. The man on the other side laughed. The Holy City now belongs to the Purple Moon Holy King. Do you think the Closed Moon Holy King can still live? Your bloodline will be destroyed in both heart and soul. Let's not talk about anything else. Everyone, let's attack together. Lin Xian said coldly. Dragon, set up an array to prevent them from escaping. I'll use it. Myriad smoke shrouded the area so that others won't find out. Lin Xian had already decided to attack. The dark red divine dragon said, Leave it to me. He waved his dragon claws and the array quickly spread out in all directions. Lin Xian also took out the innumerable green smoke and flew into the sky. Seeing Lin Xian and the rest's actions, the people in front sneered. But you guys dare to attack us with just the few of you? You guys don't know what death is. You guys are the ones who don't know what death is. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He slapped his palm forward. A terrifying force exploded. The toad also roared, Watch me. He also rushed forward. The North Demon and Qin Xiener also attacked. Even the little white monkey turned into a bolt of lightning and kept shuttling back and forth. In an instant, a huge battle broke out. On the other side, the people from the Joyous Union Palace also roared. You guys are courting death. Take them down. I want them to live a life worse than death. Godly Toad Fist. The toad was the fastest. In an instant, it flew to the front. Then, it clenched its claws into a fist and punched out. A terrifying force surged, and it carried a deadly poison. The 6 people in front were originally disdainful. How dare mere ants fight against them? But in the next instant, their bodies were blown apart. The blood mist and souls were all covered by the poison. It was the same on the other side. The North Demon was extremely strong. Countless strange flowers bloomed in the sky and spread out. Instantly, the surrounding people all vomited blood. The dark red divine dragon even used the dragon's mystique. It shook the sky and the dragons, forcing those people to retreat. Boom! The young man in the lead was also forced back by Qin Xiener's palm. His entire arm was numb and his face was extremely gloomy. Damn it! How are these people so powerful? Who are they? Do you really want to be enemies with the Joyous Union Palace? The young man looked around and shouted coldly. However, he was answered with all kinds of mystiques. Godly Toad Fist. Dragon's Roar. Human Ruler Seal. Chapter 4383. Damn it, they were too strong. Although there were more than 100 of them, they were constantly retreating. They even broke down in an instant. Damn it. The face of the leading young man turned extremely cold. In an instant, half of the people on their side had died. The remaining people were also terrified. He said, Hurry up and attack, we can't hold on. She had brought too many experts. You are really useless. A cold voice sounded between heaven and earth. The leading man's face turned ugly, but he didn't say anything. After all, in this situation he still had to rely on the other party. In the sky, 2 old men appeared. They had an extremely cold aura. The yellow springs surged under their feet. In an instant the entire space was painted into hell. Terrifying white bones filled the surroundings. Yellow Spring Hall, it was indeed you. Seeing this scene, Qin Xiener gritted her teeth. Damn it, it was indeed related to these people. Lin Xian's face was also cold. 2 half-step Saint Kings? If he was careful, these 2 people had already surpassed the Saint Venerable. If the 2 of us join forces, unless you are a true Saint King, you have no chance of surviving. These two people were very strong. They formed seals with their palms and tore open the void. Then in the void, endless yellow spring water flew out. Inside, an army of white bones appeared one after another. They covered the sky and covered the earth. Even the experts of Joyous Union Palace who had been killed earlier turned into puppets and charged over. Furthermore, the puppet army was imbued with the magical laws of the Yellow Springs. Under the control of two half-step Saint Kings, the power formed was very terrifying. The battle between the two sides was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian and the others were indeed strong. They directly smashed out with the Man-Ruler seal and countless white bones shattered. But the army of white bones condensed again and formed an even more terrifying existence. Among them, there was a white-bone skywolf. There was also a white-bone demon ape. These two people seemed to be the leaders, roaring at the sky. They could actually block everyone's attacks. So strong. The toad was shocked. Qin Xianer's face was cold. It seemed that these people were really well prepared. No wonder his master was also plotted against. Kid, to catch bandits, first catch the leader. Seeing this scene, He Shan said in a deep voice. Lin Xian nodded in agreement. He said, Ruffian Dragon, the two of you should fight against the Bone Army. He Shan and I will kill the two half-step Holy Kings. Since the two of them have died, I believe that this Bone Army will no longer be a threat. After saying that, he and He Shan soared into the air and flew forward. You want to fight us? You really don't know what's good for you. In the distance, the two half-step Saint Kings saw this and sneered. Instantly, the terrifying army of skeletons charged over, wanting to swallow the two of them whole. Black Mountain turned into green smoke and instantly dodged these attacks. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was incomparably powerful. He used the Man-Ruler seal and killed his way through. Everywhere it passed, everything shattered. Nothing could stop it. Like a peerless war god, he came to the front and stared at a half-step Saint King. The half-step Saint King's expression turned cold when he saw that Yi Futian was able to come here. The other person was the same, because he discovered that Black Mountain had also arrived in front of him. Kid, who exactly are you? One of them stared at Lin Xian and asked coldly. Lin Xian said, I'm the one who will kill you. He used the Man-Ruler seal and charged over. You're courting death. The elder opposite him roared angrily. Yellow spring lightning actually appeared on his body. This was also a very terrifying superpower law. With a cold and destructive aura, it charged over. Streaks of yellow spring lightning intertwined in the surroundings. Two completely opposite powers were used by the other party. It was indeed very strange. In an instant, the surroundings seemed to be covered by dark clouds, covering everything. Lin Xian felt this power and huffed coldly. He released his divine body to the extreme. After all, the other party was a half-step Saint King. He was much stronger than a late-stage Saint Venerable. However, he didn't dodge. Instead, he chose to take it head-on. He unleashed the invincible sword, and a terrifying sword chi slashed forward. This sword carried with it an invincible power. Boom! An earth-shattering sound rang out, causing the surrounding army of skeletons to shatter into pieces. Qin Xianer and the others also cried out in surprise. They kept dodging, avoiding this energy. Then they fought again. On the other side, He Shan also made his move. After Lin Xian used his sword, he blocked the other party's law of yellow spring. Then he attacked again. A shocking light appeared in his eyes, covering everything. No matter how fast the other party was, he could also see clearly. At the same time, the Man-Ruler's seal flew out, illuminating the entire world. The old man on the other side was completely stunned. He was a half-step Saint King. How powerful was his strength? But the other party could actually fight against him. It was really unbelievable. The endless Yellow Springs lightning turned into a Yellow Springs sword that he held in his hand. It slashed forward. With one sword he cut Lin Xian apart. However, he realized that it was just an illusion. Lin Xian had already arrived behind the other party. He used the mountain-embracing seal. A mountain fell from the sky and suppressed the other party. With a boom, the elder's body trembled and he flew backward, spitting out blood. How could it be? The people in Hahuan Palace were stunned when they saw this scene. That was a half-step Saint King. How powerful was he? But at this moment he was actually injured by the other party. Who was this person? Was he also a half-step Saint King? However, he did not feel such a terrifying aura. The elder was even more so. His eyes were about to pop out. Damn it. The elder shouted angrily. His body shook, leaving behind a skeleton. And he turned into the water of the yellow spring and escaped into the void. He dodged the mountain-embracing seal's full-force attack. In the next moment he tore the void and walked out. His face was extremely cold. Damn brat, you dare to hurt me. I will tear you into pieces. At this moment, a crazy roar suddenly rang out, causing everyone to turn their heads to look. The elder's pupils shrank. He could tell that it was his companion's voice. He turned his head and found that his companion had been completely suppressed by the black-robed man. Even his body was broken. How could it be? Who was this black-robed man? Was he even more powerful? Lin Xian was also surprised. It seemed that Black Mountain's strength was indeed strong enough to suppress the other party. In that case, he could not hold back. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath. Let's end this quickly. His eyes bloomed with an extremely cold light. Man ruler seal. Like a god of war, he raised one hand and slapped forward. The sky fell and the earth cracked. Chapter 4384. Under such a peerless divine power, the elder could only dodge and find an opportunity to attack. He was very shocked now because if the black-robed man attacked, he would have no chance of survival. However, what surprised him was that the other party didn't attack. He seemed to be watching the battle. This made him feel a little more at ease. He had to deal with this brat in front of him first. 5 spirits earth fiend fire. A ball of flame appeared in the elder's hand. It was extremely strange. This was the earth fiend fire. It was formed from the corpses of experts after they died. It had unparalleled power. As he appeared, endless light bloomed. A terrifying aura was as if hell had descended. The ball of flame turned into endless light and charged over like a comet. Lin Xian used the invincible sword and slashed out. With a clang, both of them retreated. Lin Xian's blood boiled, but his eyes were even brighter. He had come to a good place. He had cultivated these divine skills in the eternal battlefield and hadn't had the chance to use his full strength. Now that he had encountered a half-step Saint King, he naturally had to use his full strength to have a peak battle with the other party. It was the invincible sword again. It pierced through the void in an instant, and the flames dimmed. However, the other party's yellow spring thunder charged over again. Lin Xian used the indestructible sword again. The undying and indestructible aura swept through everything. Just like that, Lin Xian used 4 divine skills to fight with the other party. At this moment, wherever the two passed, the bone army shattered. He was too strong. He was actually able to fight evenly with a half-step Holy King. The North Demon was shocked. Qin Xian'er's expression was even more solemn. To be honest, he had also seen Lin Xian kill a half-step Saint King. However, that time he used the Saint King Wu. It was a power that surpassed the Saint King. Now, Lin Xian didn't use the Saint King Wu at all. He was using his own power. In other words, Lin Xian's power alone was enough to fight a half-step Saint King. If he used the Saint King Wu, how terrifying would it be? Black Mountain looked at him and kept nodding his head. It seemed that he was indeed the descendant of the great dragon. Lin Xian was incomparably domineering. Boundless sword light soared into the sky. He was like a supreme immortal king. In the face of such a terrifying power, the old man's face turned incomparably ugly. Damn it. He roared angrily, turned around, and fled. At this moment, he was no longer a match for them. It was best for him to escape as soon as possible. Reporting to the Silver Corpse Saint King, a mysterious expert has arrived. Do you want to leave? The indestructible sword blocked the enemy's path. At the same time, Lin Xian's manruler's seal continuously slammed out, causing the old man to vomit blood. The old man gritted his teeth. Then he took out an underworld gourd and cracked it open. A terrifying power swept through everything. Not good, retreat quickly. When they saw the dark red dragon, they quickly retreated. Clearly, the other party was going all out. Lin Xian also felt the terrifying aura. He coldly snorted and didn't hold back. Previously, he had already verified his secret technique. It was no weaker than a half-step Saint King. Now, there was no need to fight. He took out the great destruction and pierced through heaven and earth. The endless void shattered. The old man originally thought that he could escape. But in an instant he was pierced through. He didn't dare to believe that this was the aura of a Saint King. The other party had a Saint King Wu. Legitimate. Previously, the other party was fighting with him. Was he training his strength? It really made him despair. The great destruction and demonic qi exploded, engulfing the other party. Lin Xian kept the other party's storage ring. He looked at He Shan and asked, "Have you collected the soul before?" He Shan nodded and kept it. He could already confirm that the Silver Corpse Saint King was here. As for the others, he still didn't know. Since that was the case, there was no need to keep them alive. Lin Xian then looked at the remaining people from the Joyous Union Palace. Those people fell to their knees with a plop. "Hero, please spare our lives." They kept kowtowing. Previously, they were arrogant because there was a half-step Saint King. But now, the half-step Saint King was killed. How could they be a match for the half-step Saint King alone? Lin Xian looked at Qin Xiener and said, "These people are from Hehuan Palace. I'll leave them to you." Qin Xiener's expression was cold. Those people looked at Qin Xiener and said, "Spare my life." Yes, we were forced to do this. These people crazily begged for mercy. Qin Xiener's expression was cold. She looked at the leading man and slashed him with her sword. The man's soul wanted to escape, but it was slapped away by Lin Xian. Then Qin Xiener killed him. Then she killed 2 more people. These 3 were the leaders. Qin Xiener didn't kill the people behind them. However, she didn't let them go. Instead, she used a seal. He took out a small bell and sealed all of them inside. She wanted to find her master and then deal with these people together. "Let's go." The group went on their way again. They flew into the distance. According to their guess, Liyue Saint King should be very far from the core of the Saint City. This way it would be safer. Therefore, they flew in the opposite direction. However, when they arrived at this area, Lin Xian frowned. Because they realized that there were very few people here. It seemed that even the number of people searching had decreased. What was going on? Was there something unusual about this place? They looked at Qin Xiener. Qin Xiener said, "I remember now. This place is indeed unusual." Under normal circumstances, the disciples of Hehuan Palace rarely came here. The toad said, "I feel that there's something wrong with this place." The snow-white little monkey looked around curiously and used the treasure bowl to probe. Then it said, "Yeah, there seems to be a treasure. But I don't like this aura. If there was a treasure, then let's look for it." The dark red dragon's eyes lit up and began to look around. He waved his dragon claws, tearing the ground and the void apart. The toad also attacked. Lin Xian frowned. "Don't act rashly. Don't forget our purpose." The toad said, "Don't worry, kid. I've always been reliable." "When did I miss it?" The dark red dragon also said, "Don't worry, the 2 of us won't make a mistake." However, just as he finished speaking, the ground suddenly shook and a force directly sent the 2 of them flying. The 2 of them spat out a mouthful of blood and their faces were full of horror. What happened? Boom! An extremely terrifying aura appeared. Then, everyone felt the sky and earth spinning as if the sky and earth were collapsing. Black Mountain shouted, "Be careful." He formed a seal with both hands and a mysterious rune appeared, freezing the sky and earth. Then he said, "This place is not ordinary. There seems to be something sealed below." "Damn, what can be sealed?" The toad was about to cry. The dark red dragon also said, "No way, I actually have a time when I make a mistake. Let's go." Black Mountain brought these people and turned into lightning, leaving in an instant. In the next moment, the surrounding sky and earth kept shattering. There was movement. The people who were searching in the distance quickly rushed over. However, in an instant, they were sent flying. Chapter 4385. Damn it, what a terrifying aura. What's going on? Why is there such a terrifying place in the Joyous Union Palace? Why didn't they know about it before? Quickly report to the Sage King. These people roared crazily. At the same time, Purple Moon Sage King suddenly opened his eyes in the majestic palace. What a terrifying aura. Could it be that the closed moon had recovered? On the other side, the Silver Corpse Sage King also walked out from the void. No, it's not your senior sister's aura. It's another aura. How terrifying. Had a peerless greater demon appeared? Or has the demon city arrived? Quick, let's go take a look. The two Sage Kings tore open the void and left instantly. In the next instant, they appeared in the 9 heavens and looked at the shattered land below with furrowed brows. What a terrifying power. The Silver Corpse Sage King looked serious. Purple Moon Sage King said, I remember this place, but I don't know the details. I didn't expect something powerful to be sealed here. Let's take a look. It might be useful to me. The Silver Corpse Holy King smirked when he sensed the aura. The Acheron Palace cultivated the law of Acheron and could control the powerful white bones. If there was really a corpse sealed below, then he would be unparalleled among the Sage Kings if he could control it. The Silver Corpse Sage King threw out an Acheron diagram and shrouded the area below. The Acheron diagram covered the land and wanted to suppress the thing below. However, there was a low roar. Then the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Even the Acheron was sent flying. The aura became more and more terrifying. Other than the two Sage Kings, no one dared to go near it. In another place, Lin Xian and the rest appeared. They hid in the void and looked ahead in shock. What is that? Qin Xianer was shocked. Although she was a disciple of the Joyous Union Palace, she never knew that there was such a terrifying existence. Lin Xian was also shocked. He said, the voice seems to be some kind of demonic beast. Do you know what it is? He Shan's eyes flickered. At this moment his body was shaking slightly. It's that thing. The heavens really don't want me to die. Kid, wait here. There's a great opportunity in front. I must get it. Go out now? Those are two great Sage Kings. Can you resist them? Lin Xian was surprised. Northern Demon was also worried about his master. However, He Shan said, don't worry, I won't fight them head-on. The two of them won't be able to find it. When I arrive, I will definitely be able to lend you a helping hand. Not only could he save the BUS Saint King, but he could also increase his power to fight against the world of men. When Lin Xian heard this, he asked, then do you need a Saint King weapon? I can give you the Spear of Great Destruction temporarily. He Shan shook his head. I don't need that, but you can give me 3 dragon-shaped sword chi. Lin Xian shot out 3 dragon-shaped sword chis. He Shan waved his hand and put them away. Stay away for now and wait for the other Saint Kings to arrive. I think it won't take long for this news to spread. At that time, those Saint Kings would also come. I went first. Black Mountain entered the void and disappeared. Lin Xian and the others waited patiently. In front, the Silver Corpse Saint King's face turned cold when he saw his attack being repelled. He said to the Purple Moon and attacked together. Purple Moon Saint King unleashed a round of purple moons and attacked. The Silver Corpse Holy King took out his underworld gourd and unleashed his 2 sacred arts. This time, they were going to suppress it completely. He Shan appeared on the ground below. He formed a hand seal and slapped out. Countless talismans appeared around him as if he was summoning the sealed thing. The sealed thing roared and shattered the 9 heavens. The gourd and purple moon were sent flying. At this moment, heaven and earth were pierced through. Even the supreme array of the Joyous Union Palace was broken through. A ray of light rushed to the second astral realm. At this moment, the second astral realm heard a low roar. What was that? Countless experts looked into the distance. It was in the direction of the Joyous Union Palace. They didn't dare to go. However, a few other figures tore through the void and rushed over. In the next moment, they arrived from the shattered spirit formation with great force. The surrounding heaven and earth cracked. The people of the joyous Union Palace looked up in horror. Their faces were pale. There were more than one Saint King's aura. Lin Xian also looked up. The devouring law. Senior brother and the others are here. Great. Qin Xianer heaved a sigh of relief. With so many Saint Kings here, they should be able to save Saint King Biyue. As expected, Peerless Saint King, Kunlun Saint King, and Wuji Saint King appeared one after another. The Purple Moon Saint King frowned and turned to look. The Silver Corpse Saint King's face was cold. They were really persistent. Peerless Saint King and the other two walked over. Their powerful aura suppressed the area. The Purple Moon Saint King said, "Everyone, you came to my joyous Union Palace without saying anything. You don't seem to care about me and the joyous Union Palace. Can the three of you give us an explanation?" As soon as he said that, the surrounding array became fierce. It was obvious that the Purple Moon Saint King was angry. The Peerless Saint King sneered. "We are old friends with the joyous Union Palace's Biyue Saint King. We came to look for her. As for you, who do you think you are? You are not qualified for us to acknowledge you." "What did you say?" The Purple Moon Saint King was furious. Was the other party looking down on him? He immediately threw out a palm. A terrifying purple moonlight pierced through the sky and attacked the Peerless Saint King. The Peerless Saint King sneered and waved his hand. The devouring law swallowed the superpower. "You have just become a Saint King and you dare to challenge me? Do you really think I don't dare to attack you?" The powerful devouring law. It covered heaven and earth. It was as if it was going to devour everything. The Purple Moon Saint King's face changed when she felt the terrifying power. Indeed, she had just become a Saint King and the Peerless Saint King was a veteran. There was still a gap between them. At this moment, the Silver Corpse Saint King walked out. The Biyue Saint King had fallen and the Purple Moon Saint King was in control of the joyous Union Palace. It was indeed against the rules for them to come uninvited. "Who said that my master has fallen?" At this moment, Qin Xianer rushed out and shouted coldly. Lin Xian and the rest had no choice but to follow her. "Junior brother." The Peerless Saint King was shocked. Lin Xian nodded. At the front, the Purple Moon Saint King's face darkened. She did not know that the other party was here. How despicable. Were all her subordinates useless? She shouted coldly. "Xianer, do you have the right to speak here? Quickly kneel down and wait for your punishment. Who do you think you are? How dare you shout at us?" Lin Xian walked over and shouted coldly. "Yes, who allowed you to be arrogant in front of me? Kneel down and accept your death." The toad also jumped out and started to clamor. In the distance, the people from the joyous Union Palace were stunned. Chapter 4386. Purple Moon Sage King was also trembling with anger. She could not defeat Peerless Sage King, but she did not care about these people. Today, she would let everyone know how powerful she was. Between heaven and earth, a terrifying Sage King aura appeared, charging towards Lin Xian and the rest, as if wanting to kill Lin Xian and the rest in an instant. Lin Xian and the rest smiled coldly, but did not make a move. In front of them, a devouring vortex appeared, blocking all the superpowers. Peerless Sage King said, "What? You dare to attack my junior brother? Do you think I won't kill you?" In an instant, the atmosphere was extremely tense. Peerless Sage King and Kunlun Sage King walked out, staring at Silver Corpse Sage King. At this moment, heaven and earth shattered. Demon City's Soaring Sage King and 10,000 Swords Pavilion's Divine Ghost Sage King also broke through the air. "So lively, I wonder what everyone is talking about? This is great." Purple Moon Sage King smiled. Their side had 4 great Sage Kings, and they already had a sufficient advantage. The surrounding people held their breaths. If the 7 great Sage Kings did not agree, if a battle broke out, Joyous Palace would be destroyed. At this tense moment, below the ground, 2 figures appeared. One was Hei Shan, and the other was a woman. Her face was pale, and it was obvious that she was severely injured. She was Liyue Sage King. Liyue Sage King looked at the seal in front of her, and a cold look appeared in her eyes. It seemed that she wanted to make a move. However, at this moment, a voice came from behind her. I advise you not to act rashly, because if you do, you will die together. Do you want to destroy Joyous Palace? Hearing this voice, Liyue Sage King's eyes narrowed. She turned around and saw a man in a black robe appear behind her. How could it be? How could there be someone here? She was really shocked. This place was the secret of Joyous Palace, and only the palace masters of each generation knew about it. Because she was the palace master, she knew about it. Purple Moon Sage King controlled it forcefully, so she did not know about this place. So only she could enter, but how could the other party? Or you? Liyue Sage King was puzzled. Are you from Purple Moon? She was unconsciously nervous. This black-robed man was naturally He Shan. He said, "No, I'm with Lin Xian. Therefore they should be on your side." Hearing this, BUS Saint King heaved a sigh of relief. He had also sensed the aura of Peerless Saint King and the others outside. At this moment, He Shan said, "Turn back. What you're doing is a lose-lose situation. You have no advantage." Then what do you want to do? Naturally, it was to make use of his power. Black Mountain Eye also shone with a biting cold light. This is a great fortune for me. If you give it to me and let me break through, I will definitely give you a complete joyous Union Palace. Was that true? The BUS Saint King was shocked. An aura emerged from the Black Mountain, as if it was above the Saint Kings. BUS Saint King felt his soul tremble. Who was this person? How could he have such a terrifying aura? He felt that facing the other party was even more terrifying than facing the reincarnation protector. So she took a deep breath and said, "Okay, what do you need me to do?" Black Mountain said, "Go out and control the situation. Give me some time to prepare." The BUS Saint King nodded and then left. Outside, the 7 great sage Saint Kings were facing each other. Their auras kept exploding, and it seemed like a great battle was about to break out. At this moment, a figure flew out. His appearance attracted everyone's attention. "Master!" Qin Xianer exclaimed, unable to believe that it was her master. Lin Xian and the others also came over. Had the BUS Saint King appeared? Countless people exclaimed. At this moment, the Purple Moon Saint King's eyes shone with extremely cold, killing intent. "My dear senior sister, I have been looking for you. I didn't expect you to be here. If you obediently surrender, I can give you a quick and painless death. Otherwise, I will let you know what it means to live a life worse than death." The BUS Saint King snorted, his face cold. "Junior sister, if you surrender now, I can pretend that nothing happened. I hope you will not go down the wrong path again." Hearing this, the Purple Moon Saint King laughed. "Nothing happened? Senior sister, you are so naive. Do you really think that you are still the high and mighty Saint King? You were poisoned before, and now you are injured. Your strength is not as strong as before. And now, I am no longer a half-step Saint King. I am a true Saint King. What right do you have to look down on me? Now, I should look down on you." At the end, he roared, and the void in the 9 heavens and 10 lands shattered. A powerful aura swept across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. "It is useless. BUE, we all support the Purple Moon Saint King. You can rest in peace." The Silver Moon Saint King and the others also sneered. Since they had already appeared, why would they stop? The Peerless Saint King's face also turned cold. "Do you think that we are not here?" They also walked out. This time, the aura between the two sides was even more terrifying. At this moment, He Shan transmitted his voice. "You all should have a great battle, but you must pretend that you are trapped by them. Leave the rest to me." The Peerless Saint King and the others also quickly attacked. A great battle broke out. It was extremely terrifying and earth-shattering. Fortunately, these Saint Kings had all come to the 9 heavens, so the great battle did not affect the ground below. Otherwise, the entire joyous Union Palace would be turned into ashes. In the end, the Peerless Saint King and the others followed He Shan's instructions and pretended that they were defeated and trapped. "They have already been trapped by my Divine Ghost's sword array. With your Underworld Great Array, it should be able to seal them for a period of time. Next, let's go and check out the situation below." The Silver Corpse Saint King sneered. The Purple Moon Saint King wanted to attack immediately, But he also knew that trapping the opponents and killing the Saint Kings were two different situations. It was not easy to kill these Saint Kings. So, let's see what secrets there are below first. The four Saint Kings quickly descended, and their powerful aura suppressed everything. When the people in the Joyous Union Palace saw that it was the Purple Moon Saint King, they immediately gasped. Some people cheered, while those who stood on the BUS Saint King's side were filled with despair. Could it be that the Joyous Union Palace would be controlled by the Purple Moon Saint King from now on? Lin Xian and the others also retreated far away. Qin Xianer's face was solemn. Lin Xian said, "Don't worry, everything is going according to plan." The Purple Moon Saint King looked over, and a cold, murderous intent appeared in his eyes. Previously, Lin Xian and the Toad had mocked him, and now he wanted to attack. However, the Silver Corpse Saint King did say, "Don't worry, these ants will not be able to run away, they are already in our hands. When they get the treasures, they will torture these few people." Chapter 4387. As far as they were concerned, Lin Xian and the others were nothing more than ants that they could crush as they wished. Therefore, they were not in a hurry to attack. In the next moment, they looked down and started attacking. A cold aura exploded and the roar became even more terrifying. However, after a huge battle, they were still unable to break the formation. This made the four great Sage Kings' faces turn cold. "It's useless. You can't break it." At this moment, a voice sounded. "Who is it?" Soaring Sky Sage King roared and swept his two blades across the 9 heavens. The other 3 great Sage Kings also frowned. Is someone coming? Could it be another Sage King that dared to speak to them like that? In the next moment, they saw a figure walking over from afar. It was a black-robed man. His entire body was wrapped in a mysterious aura. "I wonder, who is this person?" "Who are you?" Purple Moon Sage King asked with a frown. She was worried that this was the helper of Peerless Sage King and the others. However, the black-robed man said, "I'm afraid you guys don't know who I am. However, I can help you guys break it." "Break what?" Purple Moon Sage King was stunned. Black Mountain pointed to the ground and said, "Break the formation. Don't you guys want to get what's inside the seal? There's a peerless formation here. Without a way to break it, even if you guys are Sage Kings, you won't be able to break it." "You can break the formation?" Silver Corpse Sage King and the others were shocked. They stared at the black-robed man in front of them as if they wanted to see through him. They naturally knew that this place wasn't the same. Otherwise, the 4 great Sage Kings wouldn't be able to break it even if they worked together. However, this person said that he could break it. Who is this person? The other party's aura was very strange. They didn't feel the aura of a Sage King. However, they also noticed that the other party's cultivation was vague. It seemed that he hadn't become a Sage King yet. Soaring Sky Sage King snorted. How could such a person be qualified to say that he could help them break the formation? No matter who you are? You need to have the corresponding strength to say that. Do you have it? Purple Moon Sage King asked coldly. Black Mountain smiled. I don't have the cultivation of a Sage King now. However, my attainments in formations are not something you guys can imagine. Also, don't try to make things difficult for me because I'm afraid you won't be able to do it. I'm from the Buried Emperor Star. As soon as these words came out, the expressions of the few people also changed. Were they from the Buried Emperor Star? If that was really the case, then perhaps the other party really was an expert in array formations. What to do? Soaring Sky Saint King and the others discussed. The Silver Corpse Saint King said, if he wanted to fight, they would let him break the formation and give him some benefits. As for the treasures inside, they will definitely be ours. Even if he comes from the Buried Emperor Star, so what? He doesn't have the qualifications to be arrogant in front of us. The few of them quickly transmitted their voices to each other. Soon, they came up with a plan. Among them, Purple Moon Sage King nodded and smiled. Since you're willing to help, that's great. Don't worry, if you can really break the formation, we won't mistreat you. All right, Black Mountain walked over. He naturally knew what these saint rulers were up to. However, he did not care because he had absolute confidence in himself. Moreover, if he wanted to break the formation, he would need to borrow the power of these Saint Kings. Black Mountain walked to the front and waved his hand. Countless runes appeared below and swept in all directions. An extremely terrifying formation appeared on the ground. I wonder if you've heard of the Four-Spirit Heavenlock Formation? The Four-Spirit Heavenlock Formation, Purple Moon Sage King, was puzzled. However, the Silver Corpse Saint King's pupils shrank. This was a legendary formation that had been lost. Could it be that the formation below was the Four-Spirit Heavenlock Formation? That's right. Black Mountain nodded. The Silver Corpse Saint King sucked in a breath of cold air. No wonder the four Saint Kings couldn't even break the array with their bare hands. This was an extremely terrifying formation from the ancient era. It was said that it could even seal the heavens and earth, let alone a mere saint. Then do you really have a way to break it? The divine ghost Saint King asked coldly. Since it was such a terrifying formation that had been lost, did the other party really know how to break it? Could it be that he was making fun of them? It's precisely because it's a lost formation that I know how to break it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come out and have the courage to face you. The Great Four-Spirit Heavenlock Formation, as its name implied, was a great battle with the four great spirit beasts as the foundation. Within this formation, there were the souls and blood of the four great spirit beasts that were eternally suppressed. Now, the four of you great sage kings can break it. Each of you should be able to deal with one spirit beast. With your strength, it should not be a problem. Of course, when to attack and where to attack, it's still up to me. A cold light appeared in Black Mountain's eyes. Just like the legends, this guy seemed to be able to break the formation. The Silver Corpse Saint King's eyes were cold. He could not wait any longer. What was suppressed by such a shocking formation was definitely a heaven-defying treasure. The four of them took a deep breath and descended. Next, they began to break the formation under Black Mountain's guidance. It had to be said that the four Saint Kings were very powerful. Each of them was earth-shattering. Even though the Purple Moon Sage King had just broken through, it was still far beyond a Saint Sovereign. The four great Sage Kings attacked together to break the formation. It took 9 days. Lin Xian and the others also retreated to an extremely far place. The dark red divine dragon muttered, "This old man, is he all right? Don't give us the treasure before we succeed." It shouldn't be a problem. Lin Xian was also not confident. After all, the power of the formation was beyond his imagination. On the other side, the peerless Saint King and the rest who were trapped by the divine demon sword formation and the underworld great array were also looking at the formation. They were all waiting patiently. Gradually, the power of the Four-Spirit Heavenlock Formation weakened. It would not take long for it to be broken. Great. The Purple Moon Sage King and the Silver Corpse Saint King smiled. It seemed that the black-robed man had some tricks up his sleeve. She was wondering if she should bring the black-robed man back to the true spirit world after everything was over. After all, there were even more mysterious places in that place, and there were many mystical great formations. If she brought along such an expert in formations, she might be able to reap even more rewards. But suddenly, a low sound was heard. Then, cracks appeared on the formation and spread out in all directions. Great! Has it been broken? The Purple Moon Sage King and the rest were overjoyed. They were ready to attack at any time. However, at that moment, there were 6 shackles at the place where they were. They were completely enveloped by 6 shackles. Then they were bound in the sky. What was going on? They were shocked. However, Black Mountain said, "Don't be afraid. This is the last formation. It will be broken soon. If you leave, then all your efforts will be wasted." The 4 of them were stunned when they heard this. They did not leave and allowed the chains to bind them. They frowned. To be honest, although they were suspicious, they had spent a lot of effort to break the formation. Now, it was the last step. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.